Hello, friends. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello. All righty. I think we're here. I think we are here. We are here. Hello. Oh, golly. I don't know what I do. I do know what happened. My phone is quite a bit heavier than it used to be. I didn't quite have that notched down. Anyhow, hello, friends. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday before Christmas, right? Holy cow. How, when, like, how did we get here, right? It's crazy. I don't know how we got here. In my craft room, the windows are open, so it's a little chilly for that. But I'm preempting what I potentially see as an issue, and that I have a sweater on, and now the cat is sitting in the window. So it's gonna be very interesting because you know me, I'm a little bit loud, and now the windows are open, so any neighbors walking by or whatever will be like, wow, that lady's a nut job. If they didn't already think it, now they'll for sure think it. Happy Saturday, friends. Hello, hello. Let's check out the chat, and then we will jump in. Give everybody a minute or two to arrive. Yeah. Hold on. I'm here. Don't worry. I am here. I'm going to need to figure out how to... I'm just battening down the hatches. Let's see. It'll be fine once I rotate the camera, but this... If you didn't know, the new iPhone, the iPhone 16, I don't know, whatever it is, 16,412, whatever version it is, it seems to be much heavier than my 15. So, yeah, gravity. We all know gravity, right? Anyhow, let's say hello. Hi, Tracy. Good morning, Ms. L. Hello, Nick from the other room. Just getting ready to leave to go skiing. Hello, Merlene. Merlene, I think. Good morning. She is here to catch the first live. Good morning to you. Welcome. Hi, Jackie and Elizabeth. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. Good morning. Amy is here to hang out with us. If you don't know Amy, Amy and I work very closely together. I think we've just figured out yesterday, we're kind of Batman and Robin, okay? That's kind of what we figured out, right, Amy? Anyhow, Amy is a huge help to me and works very much behind the scenes to make all of the new products and things like that happen. So she will be here today in the chat, and she will be linking to things that I'm using, so that if you are like, oh gosh, what is that? You'll see it linked in the chat. And then if you're watching the chat, super easy to find. If you're not watching the chat and you're watching the replay, welcome to you. You can watch the chat as you're watching the replay. It's kind of happens as you're watching the replay. But you don't have to watch either of those places, because in the description box of the video below, there is a link to the products that I am using in today's listing session. So welcome, Amy. Hello, Valerie. Hi, Pamela Grant. Jackie, good morning, good morning. Popping in and out. I know it's busy Saturday, right? It is a busy Saturday. Saturday before Christmas. So if you are going out shopping today, bless your heart. Good luck, right? Good luck. Hello, Wanda. I know, that was interesting. It popped right up. Good morning, Brenda. Sweater's cute. Thank you. It is, it gets worn like once a year. There's little Santas on it as well, just not the little reindeer there, but anyhow, cute, but very warm. Very warm. Hello, Island Scrapper from England. Nice to see you. Where in England are you? Wanda, it's that December document that makes it go by so quick. No kidding, right? Holy cow. Holy cow. Hi, Sarah. Terry, good morning, good morning. Hello, Michelle. Hi, Denise. No, so nice. No, nice. So nice to see you. I know the fan is, the windows are open, so we should be good. April, good morning from Texas. Hello, Deborah. Deborah, you just got an email from me this morning. Well, just while you're there, I will pop in and say, we always do giveaways, right? We always do giveaways when we are together. And this morning, not long before we started here, I went on to the comments from last Saturday's video, randomly drew a name, and that random lucky winner from last Saturday's after party, okay, prizes that were done after the video, random lucky winner of the $25 gift certificate to my website is Deborah. So Deborah, you should have an email from me with that coupon code for you. So congratulations. Happy shopping. Hello, Sarah. The pink, it's fun, isn't it? Pink. I don't know. I think I saw my friend Beth Kingston wear this last year on Instagram, and I'm like, ooh, when it was Amazon and it was easy, and so it comes out once or twice a year. Yeah, it comes out once or twice a year. Hello, Kelly's Creatives Dreams. She is here, but not for long. It is her husband's first full day of retirement. So Kelly, boat. He was doing something with a boat, right? If I remember correctly, I just don't remember quite what it is, but congratulations to your husband and congratulations to you. That is so exciting. So exciting. Hello, Corey, Western Washington. Dina from Kettering, Ohio. April, RSAPs. Good morning to all. It's sunny and clear here in Calgary. Love the sweater, Lael. Fun pink for Christmas. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Mom. Hello, hello. Carol, morning from Carol in Central Canada. Carol is celebrating, as with probably every other Canadian. The Canadian Post strike is over. So that's wonderful for so many reasons, but very glad that that is over for you guys, because that was weeks, months. It's been a while, right? So that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hello, Karen. Karen from Colorado. It's supposed to get up to almost 70 degrees here. What? So here's the deal. If you haven't been watching the weather, if you're on the eastern part of the United States, it is like cold and cold. Sorry, we're just going to try to get that to cold and, oh no, I just have me. Cold and snowy and things, and then western part of the United States, we're like heat wave. Now, not really heat wave, at least here in Utah, but we're like, I think maybe up to 50 today, which this time of year, that is very warm. So, sounds like Colorado even more so. Yes, congrats to Kelly and her husband. Hi, Marilee, nice to see you. One of your two girls is home. You'll be complete on Tuesday. Oh, that's so fun. So fun to have family together. April has some Christmas shopping to do. Sickness in the house for 2 weeks. Oh, golly. April. And when we say bless your heart, we mean that it collectively bless your heart and good luck. Not in a bad way. Not in like from the South way when they say, oh, bless her heart. Really, bless your heart. Good luck. Hello, Zen girls. I know, the reindeer up by your shoulders, that would be a little, so I know it. Luckily, it's not down too far, because if it was down too far, that would be very awkward. That's why I guess I felt like I needed to show you that there were Santas there, because if you see this part, just that part, does look a little odd. Terry, my hair looking so lovely. Thank you. It's clean today. Yeah. If you have, anyhow, hair never gets washed every day anymore. It can't. It falls out. I mean, it is my hair, but I've learned that if I wash it maybe 2 times a week, maybe 3, it's much better, much healthier. Karen needs to go buy a trench coat. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Sarah's working on December document. Island Scrapbooker. Hello, hello. Isle of Wight, just off the south coast of England. Oh, hello, Helen. That is, but that's beautiful. Just off the south coast of England. Awesome. I don't know where that is. I've spent a little bit of time in England, but I don't know where that is. I'll have to go look it up. Oh, April said she's so excited about your new quarterly kit. So we may today, when we're done, just spend a few minutes. And if you guys would like to see it, the paper arrived yesterday. So kind of a big thing. It's kind of a big, scary thing. So yes, I have a whole new thing starting. It is starting tomorrow, which seems like a very odd time. There's a lot of noise out there right now with the holidays and things, so it doesn't seem like it would make sense to launch something brand new program the Sunday before Christmas. However, it's taking the place and augmenting and then building upon a program I've had for a really long time, the bi-monthly Traveler's Notebook Kit. So I had to get it out now and had to launch it now, because some of you have been ever so patiently waiting for the January, February Traveler's Notebook Kit, which is no more. This is taking its place, but lots of other things for lots of other people as well. Anyhow, yes, so we maybe when we're done, take a little quick look at that, but that goes live tomorrow and big launch tomorrow. So very exciting, very exciting. All right. Oh, Mom, you're so sweet. She said, ho, 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 Merry Christmas to all of Lael's friends. Yes. Hello, Amanda. Okay, friends. So, hello, Laura. I want to make sure I got everybody before I kind of move on. Zen Girls, Denver, 63. Denise, 82 in Southern California. Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. So Wanda said she's bought kits in the past from a couple of different places. I think this kit is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit unique. And so you'll hear all about that tomorrow. social media, email will go out on the blog, but I think it's going to be a little bit different. That was my goal because I would want it to be different if I was you. It's pretty nice here too. Dina said, Julie's finally getting around to ink swatching. Lovely, lovely. Time limit today. So Terry, I'm shooting around 1 our time, 1 mountain time. So noon Pacific. That is my goal. That is my goal. Goodbye, honey. Have fun. Have fun. Nancy, Season Pass is a brand new program. I haven't talked about it much. I just started really teasing about it today. This past Wednesday, on What's New Wednesday, I showed just a little tiny snippet, but it's kind of an all-encompassing quarterly kit/program that will, I think, check some boxes for lots of people. And so that's all I'm really going to say about it to now, because there's a whole story behind it that you'll learn more about tomorrow. But very exciting. Yes. Okay. Spoilers. I know, spoilers. All right, friends, we're going to do this. I am going to, so Denise said, are you going to launch live? Denise, I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do an impromptu live tomorrow. The hard thing is, this is such a bad time of year. Like I said, this is a horrible time of year. This is like the worst time of year you could launch anything new. But I have to do it now because there's so many people waiting for the January, February Traveler's Notebook Kit, which generally we have the class at the end of December to set up our Traveler's Notebooks for January. So we'll see. I may just do an impromptu live. I really should. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and let's flip the camera, turn off the lights, turn on the lights, and get going. Okay, let's get going. Let's get going. It's also scary, you guys. It is scary. I mean, this is big. This season pass is big. It's all exclusive, like all just mine. Paper, word strip stickers, die cuts, stamp. It's all just kind of, yeah, it's a lot. So it's a little bit scary, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right, okay. I've put other things out into the world before that were scary. My own Traveler's Notebooks. I mean, stamps and dies, that's easy. Probably my own Traveler's Notebooks was probably the biggest scary up until this point. And then Idea Book, the first Idea Book was incredibly scary. No, I don't know. I don't know. This is scary. This is a scary one. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, not an all-dayer. Definitely not an all-dayer. Definitely not an all-dayer. Okay. Let me turn on one more light here, friends. It's just so weird. There's just some weird things that have happened with my setup, and I'm not sure what happened. It was like a little elf was in here doing some things to the camera, and I don't have Elf on the Shelf, so it's not Elf on the Shelf. I tried that for 1 year, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm never doing that again. I don't remember how we told the boys that the elf was just never coming back. I think they were a little bit older, so it was a little bit more fun. It was a little bit more okay to say, there you could see Santa down on my midriff. All right, hang tight. Hang tight. I just adjusted again. Okay, let's plug in. Thank you, Colleen. Yes. The plugging in is very important, isn't it? Necessary. All right, friends, here we go. We ready to dig in? Okay. So when we were together last Saturday on the 14th, we did 3 lists. So let's take a look at those 3 lists. The 3 lists that we did a bucket list. So a holiday bucket list. So a list of things that I would like to do this holiday season. 1 is going to happen. 2-ish. Maybe 2 of the things on my bucket list are going to happen. We'll see. And you know what? A bucket list is the things that you'd like to do, right? Not necessarily that you have to do or going to do. So in this one, we used the super cute Santa's Village collection from Simple Stories on that just cute little list. So that was our first one. Our second list was kind of a continuation, a little bit of a continuation of a list that we did the time we were together prior to last Saturday. And this one is phrases you didn't hear 20 years ago. All right. So the first version of this that we did was phrases that you, let's see, Phrases kids today wouldn't understand. So I've slowly been adding a couple more. Last week I added a couple more. I have a few more to add, and then I'll go ahead and put this list into that insert. So phrases kids today wouldn't understand. And then last week we did phrases you didn't hear 20 years ago. So kind of a fun opposite, opposite perspectives type of list. Hello, Pam Mackus. Nice to see you. So then our third list, we started and did not finish. I had a hard stop last Saturday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. So we started this list and didn't finish it. So we're going to start out by finishing this list today. And this was interesting, you guys. This was almost like speed list. Not that I was on speed, but it went very quickly, right? Because I was a little bit in a hurry to get it done, or at least get it started. So it went very quickly, which kind of led me to believe, hey, Lael, you can actually do this fast if you want to or need to. But, sometimes that's overrated. Sometimes we just like to hang out and have fun and be together and laugh and sometimes cry. There'll probably be a little crying today, just so you know. But, good crying, not necessarily bad crying. I mean, I shouldn't say bad crying. All crying is okay, right? All crying is okay. But so with this guy, this list is What a Day. So What a Day is a list that we started doing, oh my gosh, almost 2 years ago, when we were doing it in 2023. Gosh, isn't that crazy? I had to kind of think about the year since we're almost ready to start a new year. When we first did that list in 2023, it was called Today Looks Like This. In late 2023, I came out with a new stamp set called What a Day. And that What a Day stamp set is what I use on a monthly basis, basically to document a day during that month. So on this one, the day that I was documenting for December is the 12th. So an example of what that looks like, let's see if we should have one in here. We should have one in here. All of my other Traveler's Notebook inserts from the whole year are out for photography for the idea book. So we'll see what we have in this one. I'm sure we have one. We should have one. Oh, here we go. So this was a November version, but basically I'm doing a little stamping with that stamp set. So the day, the month, the day of the week. And then I'm basically just making a bulleted list of the different things that I did that day. So this is like the perfect example of a time capsule. If I had a list like this when I was a new mom, oh my goodness, how different would it be today, right? Today we're empty nesters. When I was a new mom, my list would be totally different. Or when I was in college or high school, or when my mom was raising my sister and I, my dad-ish, long story. But when my mom was, let's say, in mid-70s, how cool would it be if she did a list like this? Or my grandmother in the 50s. So this very much, I love this type of list because it tells a story. All of the lists that we do are telling a story, but this one is very specific to a particular point in time, right? It's a snapshot of a day. So that is what this list is. I started last week using products from Vicky's Wrapped in Ribbons collection. So this collection that I used, Wrapped in Ribbons, that deer, somebody just asked about that deer. Isn't that deer like so good? So good. So that deer is from it's from the Wrapped in Ribbons collection. It's either from the die cuts or the papery, I think. No, it's from the papery. I can tell by the feel of it. So that's from the papery, that's from the papery, that's from the papery. A lot of the pieces here, in fact, those 3 little ornaments are also from the papery. Oh my gosh, I think everything, even that little washi strip. I did add a few extra things after we were done. I think probably the next day as I was putting everything away, just because it was looking a little blank over here. So Heather said, he's iconic, love him. I know, isn't he that deer? So that is from Vicky's Wrapped in Ribbons collection. And you will find that linked in the description box under the what I'm using. And Amy just popped that into the chat if you want to see more of that. So really, we did everything here when we were together last. Now the only thing I really need to do is just make my list of the things that I did that day. This was a very different way of normally using this stamp set. And if you were with me last week, or if you weren't, I had no plan at all for this list in terms of what particular products I was going to use. So I just opened up the papery and basically just started putting aside things that kind of spoke to me. And sometimes when we're working with product, especially if it's a new product maybe that we haven't opened or worked with before, I find that is the easiest way to approach working with a new collection, is to just start going through it and find the things that speak to you. So these things just popped out, and as I was pulling things, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. These would be super cute if instead of stamping on like my background like I normally do, like we just saw in this list, instead of stamping on the background, what if we stamped in those little pieces? Normally that's what we do, but I'm like, what if we stamped in those pieces for our list? So quite fun. Let's go ahead and finish that list. All I need to do now is basically just add the things and then we're done. So I'm going to get my little stylus out and let's look at, I'm pulling out 2 of the 3 bullet stamps. So the bullet stamps, we have Bullets and More, which is the OG, the original. Then we have Bullets and More 2 and Bullets and More 3. These are by far my most used stamps, my own personal most used, because I pretty much use a bullet stamp on every list that I do. So I would say of the 3, the one that I use the most right now is probably Bullets and More 2, just because this guy's been out forever, and which is good. It's a good, nice, basic bullet stamp set, but all the bullets are, you know, pretty basic shapes, numbers, and things like that. This one has starts to get really themey in terms of the different types of bullets that you're seeing. And then this one, same thing, just more icons, but I'd say this is the one I probably use the most, just because I don't know. I've had this one. Well, I can't say I've had the longest, but Bullets and More 2 is probably the one that I use the most. So I am looking for some kind of a holiday bullet stamp, and I think the one that I will probably use here, so up here on the top, there's a little Santa, there's a Christmas tree, there's a little holly. I think I'll use the little holly. Let's go with that one. That will be easy. And I think I will use a green. We had inked the edges of our background last week, I believe, with Rustic Wilderness, maybe? Let's look. Let's see if it was Rustic Wilderness. Rustic Wilderness. Let's see you. Oh, yeah. I think it was Ooh, maybe it wasn't. Because what did I use? It would be helpful to know what I used there, because maybe it was Rustic Wilderness. I wouldn't have used pine needles. I don't think evergreen bough. Maybe it is Rustic Wilderness. All right. Well, it'll be close enough. Whatever it is, it'll be close enough, right? Okay. So I am taking my stamping stylus. Stamping stylus is one of my products. It is a long cylindrical, a long kind of skinny stamping block for your little teeny tiny bullet stamps. So when I'm stamping, I say, well, there's lots of, not rules. There's really no rules in any kind of crafting, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're crocheting or knitting, there's probably some rules there, but I don't do that. When it comes to crafting, there really shouldn't be any rules, but there are tips that I like to share that make life a little bit easier. One of those is when you're stamping, if you can right size your stamping block, in this case is the stamping block, to the stamp. So when I'm stamping, I like to find the stamping block that is closest to the size of my stamp. So I probably have 5 or 6 stamping blocks that I use in rotation, all different sizes, and in some cases different shapes. But when it comes to this little teeny tiny bullet stamps, if I am using a large stamping block, they're just a little bit harder to manage because the stamping block is so much larger than the stamp, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of get a nice even stamped impression. So stamping stylus, one thing to know about, well, a couple things. This is why it's a very easy, ergonomically correct, I guess, stamping block. Because look here's a pen or pencil or whatever your writing instrument is. It is very similar in length and diameter to what your hand is used to working with, which is a pen or pencil. So it makes it very easy to work with that little stamping block for that little tiny stamp. So what we're going to do, I am going to ink this up, and let's just make sure that we're good with this guy. Oh yeah, we like him. Now, when you're working with a little tiny bullet stamp like that and a pretty small stamping block, sometimes it's difficult to know the orientation of the stamp. You can't necessarily see it because you're way up here as opposed to way down here with a regular stamping block. So there's a little added sticker to the stylus. And that is there really for the sole purpose. I mean, it's branding, right? But really for the sole purpose so that you have a way to orient your stamp. So if you'd like it to be in the same direction or orientation every time, you orient your stamp however you want it to stamp based on that little label. So then as long as I'm making sure that that little label is in roughly the same position every time, that means my little stamp is going to be roughly in the same position every time. So now that we kind of think about that again, if I stamp and then I stamp again and I stamp again, see how that's always in that same orientation because I'm paying attention to where that label is. Okay, so let me look at my little handy dandy notebook from last week. Oh yeah, because that's what I need to write down. Alrighty, so how many do I have on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to make sure that I have enough room here. Am I just going to go rogue and start stamping? I guess I am. 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally I measure 5, 6. Well, looks like I'm only going to document 8 instead of 7. That's fine. I mean, instead of 9. All right. So first thing, I was not in town. On the 12th. We were in Carlsbad, California. So I woke up in Carlsbad. We took our friend Scott to the airport. We were with our friends Scott and Sherry last week, whenever that week was. And Nick had to go out of town for part of that, out of town from there on a business trip. And then Scott also had to go out of town for part of that on a business trip. So there were a couple airport trips there. We drove through Torrey Pines. We had lunch at the Pacific Coast Grill right on the ocean. Yummy, so good. That was the second time we had been to that restaurant while we were there. We walked on the beach. We checked out an RV park. I mean, woo, that sounds exciting. Now we are looking at, not sure when, in the next couple of years, going for like a month. Going to California for like a month and identifying several places where we want to stay and then staying in those places for like a week. So there was an RV park near here, and so we thought, let's stop and check it out. We headed to happy hour at a place called Monarch in Del Mar. And then we watched the Billboard Music Awards. So that is my what a day for December. Now I have a space right here, right? I should have, looking at this now, probably started one up, but I have this space right here. So I need to add something. And what do we always say? When there's a space, when it looks like something's missing, the answer is, hang tight, where did those go? Where are, oh, there they are. My Tim Holtz Christmas word strips. that is what that one is, that Happy Holidays. So I figured if I find another one, maybe I just put it right there, then it looks a little bit more balanced. But you see that like gaping hole right there? Trapped white space. That is what that is called. Doesn't matter if the background was green or red or blue, that area right there would be called trapped white space. It just, when you look at it, it just looks odd because there's a big blank there. So we're going to find a word strip sticker to pop in there. And I think maybe we can do, how about a red one? Red one, red one, red one. Maybe be joyful. That was a joyful day. Be joyful. What if be joyful goes right there? Okay, there we go. Done. All right, and now I don't have to worry about dating it because it's dated using that What a Day stamp set. So there's one other thing I want to show you. This I had started back on the 14th, and we finished this today. I kind of took that same idea and copied myself. I did that in my December Daily project. So this was December Daily for the 12th, and I had on my list of things that ahead of time that I thought I wanted to document. So when I approach that project every year, I kind of have a running list of things that I want to document in case I need a filler or something. But on that list was What a Day. And so I thought, well, hey, wait a minute. If I had wanted to do kind of this kind of documenting just to describe what happened in a particular day in my December Daily, why reinvent the wheel, right? I had done this on the 14th, and then I had done this on the 12th. No, I had done this on the 14th, and then I think on the 14th or 15th. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I kind of copied myself and did the same thing. So it's totally okay to scrap lift yourself or be inspired by yourself and use kind of the same thing in different projects. Because I get that question a lot when we get to December every year. For those of you that are doing a December Daily type project and also doing a listing with me, you're like, well, do you put the same list in both, or do you kind of do one here and change it up? Sometimes I put the same list in both. Other times it's only in one spot. As we talk about that, let me just show you one more. Going all the way back to the 3rd. So the 3rd, we were listing together. And one of the lists that we did on the 3rd was movies that I want to watch this month. So instead of recreating that list and putting it in my December Daily, I took a photo of that list. So that's a really easy way for those of you that are like, oh shoot, but what if I want it in both places? Well, have the list in one spot and then take a photo of it and put it in your December Daily. All right. Oh good, RSAPs. I'm so glad you asked about that. I remember somebody had asked about that when we were live. Somebody had asked about that and I said, oh, stay tuned. I'll talk about that. All right. I know I missed some things and I love it. Thank you, Amy. Amy's answering some questions. So, all right. So one of the things, there is a live that I will be doing after the 1st of the year, not long after the 1st of the year. I need to look at the calendar and figure out when that is going to be, where it's basically just me chatting with you guys. No projects, we're just going to be chatting, and I'm going to be talking to you about the plans for 2025 so that you have an idea of what is coming. One of those things on the list, April, is the stamp releases. So the stamp releases take place every other month. That is the plan for 2025. They will also take place every other month. And right now, it's about mid-month when they get launched. It's about mid-month. It is, it's still a little bit difficult to say exactly when it will be. We're just not quite there yet. And you know, let me tell you, I was saying to somebody earlier this week, manufacturing your own product is not for the faint of heart. I tell you what, you can have the best laid plans and, you know, Canada Postal goes on strike. I mean, you know, that didn't affect me in terms of my manufacturing ordering products, but things like Chinese New Year, where the factories in China take off for multiple weeks at a time, and that you can plan for, but there's just all kinds of sometimes delays and things like that that you just can't really anticipate. So anyhow, that's kind of the answer-ish to your stamp question. I know Amy hit that as well, so we're good. Hopefully. Okay, so that was our first list. That one we finished that one up for from last week. All righty. So you guys, I'm super excited about two of our lists today. Super, super, super excited about. Well, I'm always excited about being with you guys. I will tell you too, in this time of year, the hustle and bustle, it's always a lot, right? There's always a lot going on. And you see the funny memes commercials, and you see funny memes on social media, where it's like the mom and dad and the kids are opening presents, and the dad's like, oh, that's what we got you. Oh, just kind of funny things, because in a lot of cases, not all the cases, but in a lot of cases, it's the mom that is bearing a lot of the heavy lifting for the holidays. So two of our lists today are going to, at least for me, kind of help with some of the things that I want to be doing the rest of the year, just to be a little bit more mindful about things, so I don't end up drowning. Okay, so I don't end up drowning. The first one we're going to do is actually 100% inspired by a project that Susanna Lee, one of my design team members, did last week. And if you want to see that up close, if you go to the blog, you'll see that on the blog, but you'll also see a link to that for today's listing session. But she talked a little bit about, in her post, about kind of a hard time of year, right? It can be a hard time of year for a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people. Her list was focusing on things that she wants to do more of, kind of the rest of the holiday season, and less of the rest of the holiday season. So that is our first list. And it's interesting. Nick and I, it's very common that on Saturday mornings, as we're kind of getting up and having coffee, we're kind of our routine is, Nick's like, so what are your lists today? And we kind of chat about them and stuff. And in a lot of cases, I'm like, Nick, help me, help me. Like, I have some things on my list, and then we chat about some things. And particularly today, this list, we both kind of walked away from that conversation of going, this was a really good conversation, because these are some things that we both want to be doing, both of us. So it's okay to involve other people in your list making, right? So let's talk about that. Let's dig into this first one. So more or less, things that I want to be doing more or less of. And when I say this holiday season, I really mean right now, starting today. I mean, it really did start this morning with something, and then going through the end of the year, because then you have post-Christmas and then New Year's and kind of all of that. So the collection I'm going to be using is what you see here on my desk, and it is the from 49 to Market. It is the evergreen season, right? That's what it's called. Evergreen season. Yes. Evergreen season. Thank you. Evergreen season. So it is on Wednesday, we did kind of a little bit of a deep dive when we kind of opened all the product and looked at the different products in the collection. But I have not used this yet in any of my projects. I haven't pulled it into my December daily, haven't used it in any of my lists. I truly hadn't even opened any of it to look at until Wednesday. And as I opened it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a sleeper. This one to me is a sleeper. There's some things about this collection that I just fell in love with. First off, these two papers. These for me are so different from what we normally see 49 Market do. And don't get me wrong, I love 49 Market. I love the design aesthetic. I love everything that Katie Pertite has done in the past. And now I'm going to love it even more, because if you missed the announcement, Vicky, my dear friend Vicky Booten, is working with 49 Market. So she has a collection with 49 Market coming out in April. Anyhow, but this was so fun because this is very out of character for them. So I thought, we'll see if it gets used today. If it doesn't get used today, it will for sure be getting used in my December daily over the next couple of days. So loved that. And then also the laser cuts. I always love the 49 Market laser cuts. That is what a laser cut is. It literally looks like it's been cut by a laser, right? It's been cut by a laser. So there are details in a laser cut that you can't get in a sticker and you cannot get in a die cut, right? So just that intricacy you see, literally it looks like I went to my Christmas tree. Well, I have a fake tree, so I didn't go to my Christmas tree, but it looks like I could have gone to a real Christmas tree and snipped a branch and put that right in my project. So I love that. I love it, love it. All right. So this is going to be a 2-page list, and I'm going to show you a brand new product, and it's not one of mine. I wish it was. I wish. I was talking yesterday, well, email, chatting back and forth with the woman whose product this is, and I'm like, man, this was genius. This is one of the why I didn't think about that. So we'll be using that too. Okay, so I know this paper. I know I'm going to use this paper in a special way. So we're going to be looking for things that will coordinate with this. Now, pretty much everything in the collection coordinates. If I wanted to pull in that fun pattern, so there's a green and white and red and white. So if I wanted to work that in, we could have that on one side and that on another, but I think that's a little much, right? I like it, but I think those two together are a little much. So if I am planning on working this guy in, we could do something like that. So that kind of tempers that a wee bit. Or this guy may get used. Just thinking, the list could go here. No, we won't do that. All right, let's go with these two. All right, let's go with these two, and then this guy is going to make an appearance in there. All right, let me get my paper trimmer out. So when I do my creative listing, I am working in a traveler's notebook, okay? I'm working in a traveler's notebook, and the traveler's notebooks that I use are my traveler's notebooks, my inserts. They are standard wide, so they're 5 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. So when I'm working in a spread, that gives me about 10 inch by 8 inch, which is obviously smaller than like a regular 12 by 12. I've been using, oh my gosh, traveler's notebooks going on 8 years now, I want to say. When I'm working in a traveler's notebook, I primarily use 6 by 8 paper. If the collection has it, I use 6 by 8 paper for 2 reasons. Number one, smaller, right? It's closer to fitting without much additional work. The size of traveler's notebook I use. But the other reason is that the pattern is scaled. So it is scaled to size. If we had this same paper in a 12 by 12, it would still be just as cute, but those words would be larger because they're in a 12 by 12. So if I can work with a scaled down pattern, I see more of that pattern. I need to trim these down. And so I will trim both of them. Whoopsie. I will trim both of them down. I have glitter everywhere here. It is remnants from my one of my December daily days earlier this week. But even as much as I tried to clean it up, there's still a little glitter. All right, so when I'm trimming these down, I trim them to 4 3/4 wide. That's just kind of right off the bat what I do, because if I trim to 4 3/4 wide, that gives me just a nice even white border around my page. Both of these 4 3/4 wide. Now that leaves a little piece of paper left over. And I often say, don't get rid of these. These are still awesome to use in your projects. We've done a couple of lists with kind of using that concept lately. In this case, we took our 6 by 8 kind of rainbow stripe paper and trimmed it down to 4 3/4. The piece that we had left over, I put over on the opposite side. So it kind of helps you, if you sometimes save those pieces, it can help you to kind of join your 2 pages together, if you will. So oftentimes I will save those. And sometimes we use them. I'm just trying to see if I have another example of how we might have used that. Sometimes we use them just as a little accent on a page and not even kind of joining. I don't think I have any of those in there. But those are great little strips, especially when you're working in a smaller traveler's notebook. So if I wanted to do this, we could do something like that. And then this little guy could either go there or could go there. And it just gives us a little bit more of a kind of continuation. But in this case, we're going to keep it pretty simple like that. All right, let me get my corner rounder out. So when we're together on our Saturdays and we are doing our creative listing, creative listing for me is the primary way that I document my life. It's the primary way that I'm telling my personal stories. So this one, things I want to do more or less of. Things I wanted to be when I grew up. Favorite Christmas or favorite cereals as a kid. Things I'm looking forward to next year. But I'm basically telling my story in a really, to me, simple and easy and approachable way, because I'm doing that by making a list. Sometimes scrapbooking, memory keeping, documenting, journaling can be super intimidating because you have a story that you want to tell, but you just don't know how to tell it. And you feel like you have to be Ernest Hemingway to tell your story. This way, we all grew up doing this. We all grew up making a list, right? Every one of us, no matter what kind of list you make, we all grew up making a list, whether it was a to-do list or a Christmas list, things that you wanted for Christmas. So super easy, approachable way and a fun way to kind of document your life and tell your story. Okay, so I am going to, let's get out some, try to think, yeah, let's get white cardstock. Let me get some white cardstock out here. This is a Neenah Bright White is the cardstock that I use. One thing I want to point out, this is very interesting, something to always just kind of be aware of when you are watching anything, when you're looking at anything on a screen. The color of things sometimes may look a little bit different based on how much brightness you have on your phone, whether you're in a closet looking at something or whether you're outside looking at something. So you're seeing a picture through my phone, which is recording. And then again, you're also seeing that on your phone. I bring that up because someone, Jessie, I don't know if you're here, Jessie, but Jessie had left a comment, I think on last week's video. She said, hey, on your Neenah Bright White, am I wrong? But does it look like it's cream? And I said, I didn't say you're wrong, but I said, oh no, it's white. It's for sure white. But just kind of some things to keep in mind. If sometimes things, the colors are looking a little bit different than you think maybe like a white should. That's why. All right, so this is a Neenah Bright White. It is a flat cardstock or smooth cardstock. I pretty much do all of my stamping on a Neenah Bright White. And to me, that's really important because it's a nice quality and it's smooth. So when you're stamping, generally, you want, at least for me, I want a nice smooth surface. So I get a nice smooth stamped impression. The Neenah Bright White, hang on. I gotta eyeball this. I think I usually do about 7. I think I usually trim that to about 7 inches tall by 4 or 3 3/4. It just depends. So let's eyeball it and see. I usually go about there, and it's so funny because usually when I eyeball it, it's right on those dimensions. So let's look. That is going to be, that one's 7.5. Maybe it's closer to 7.5 than I'm thinking that it usually is. I don't know. I never remember. Okay, did I just cut off my thing? Oh no. Ay, 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 ay. It's the Saturday before Christmas. We're allowed. Yep, that one's 4. So 4 by, what did I say, 7.5? 7.5 by 4. And of course, you do what you want to do. You do you. I always say you do you, but actually, let's cut that other one out too. I like to say the measurements because sometimes you'd like to know what the measurements are. That one is 4 as well. So that Neenah Bright White, I buy it in reams and reams and reams at a time. Oh, so Amy, will you do me a favor? Thank you. Amy just said it's sold out at the moment, but if you need some, sign up for an emailer. I actually have it. Amy, will you go in and just put an arbitrary number in so it on Shopify so it comes up as in stock again, and then shoot me a quick email and let me know so I can go ahead and make sure that that is noted on our end. So I buy it from Amazon in reams and reams and reams because I use so much of it and I work it into kits and things like that. But I also sell it in packs of 25 sheets on the website, and Amy linked that. Thank you so much, Amy. All right, so here we go. We're going to be starting out like that. And I think we're going to go ahead and ink the edges again. I really liked how that looked when we did that before. So I need to just grab a quick tool, 2 quick tools. My little ink blending foam tool and my little ink blending foams that I have all swatched with the ink blending foam storage kits. All right, so that's one of my projects, that little storage kit. That was an Amy thing. I will never forget that when Amy and I first started working together, and she came to Utah, and we had a nice couple-day meeting, planning session and product development and things like that. And she said, hey, I've had this idea for a product, and it's this. So this is so cool because it is a way to store all of your little blending foams, right? By color, and you know what the colors are. Now, not all of this work is done for you in the kit. The kit is very basic. You have the little box. I think we have 6 or 7 ink brands like that. Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, Tim Holtz just regular Distress, Gina K. We can pretty much do anything. But those sheets, you have 2 of those sheets that come in the little box, and each sheet has room for 20. So that means I have 40 labeled, swatched, and everything in that little box. So also included in that kit is 42 of your little pre-stamped circles. Then you are inking and writing. And there's also 40 of your little Velcro pieces, and that's what holds your little foam pieces onto your thing. Amy has done a great video that you'll see on that product on how to go about that process of swatching your pieces, but that's what I'm using. So all I'm going to do is I've Velcro on that little foam piece. I am circular motion picking up some ink, and then I'm just going to come in here and ink those edges. You guys that know me, you know this is about as mixed media as I get. I like things pretty clean, and so I don't use ink a lot other than for obviously stamping. I use a lot of ink in my stamping, duh. And then inking the edges. Because I use a lot of white, basically all of my lists have a white base to them. So because I use a lot of white, I find that if I ink the edges, then it just helps to kind of make that white not so stark. And then it helps it to blend in a little bit with whatever it is sitting on top of, because the white is what I will do my list on and do my stamping on and so forth. So I think I'm going to do both of these green, all right? If you look at these two, that is what it looks like when the edges are inked, and that is what it looks like when they're not. So you can see it just helps it to blend in and just kind of meld together a little bit better, in my opinion. So that is what I'm doing. With those ink storage tools, there are just the kit. You can buy just the kit. You can buy the kit with the tool and a couple of tool and packages of the little blenders, or you can just buy the kit and the blenders. And then I also have just the blenders and the tool and all that as well. But just a fun little product, that fun little solution, I should say, not product, but it's a solution for swatching and then storing and identifying your little foam pieces, because they're not meant to be disposable. They're not a one and done. And it's important that if you are working with different inks, different colors, even different types of inks within the same family. So for example, distress inks, there are 2 different types, right? There's a distress oxide and there's a regular distress. One is a pigment / dye hybrid, and one is a dye ink. If you mix those on your little tools, it's a problem, because even if it's the same color, they have different properties. And basically, if you are mixing them, you are really mixing the properties that the different inks have, and that's generally not something you want to do. So that is that little ink storage tool and kit and so forth. There's also minis, little mini ones like that. So little mini tools, little mini foam pieces, and then also little mini storage kits as well. Okay, so let's do our little outlining. I pretty much, for the most part, start my lists all the same way, right? I mean, for the most part, there's some exceptions. When I'm using pattern paper, this is the process. I figure out the base, round the corners, take my white cardstock, whether I'm inking or not, and then do a little bit of outlining because to me, this looks naked. It is totally naked. Naked, naked, naked. I know, Denise, my nails that you know me, that I hate. Oh, and you could just see I am in desperate need of a color on my hair as I bend down. The minis, Denise, I have the minis on my website too. And actually let's talk about terminology because terminology is very important. The size that I used is called mini. That small one I showed you is called tiny. All right, because the minis already existed. So this size was mini, this is tiny. So it's important that you know what you're getting. Mini, tiny. And I think I didn't call it correctly. So it's just important if you're looking for it, right? That you know what it is. Okay, so I am going to, now let's do this. Get those pieces adhered. And I'm doing this next step a little bit early. I'm doing it, ooh, I got a little bit of green down there. That's all right. I'm doing this next step early because I need to make sure that I am not writing my list or putting anything that may get in the way of doing this in a second. Hi, Martine, nice to see you. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and add them to the insert. All right. There we go. I think Reggie the cat, I think Reggie still has some glitter on him from when he was in here the other day and I was working with glitter in my December daily because you probably can't see it, but it's little sparkles everywhere on my desk. Okay, so there we go. Now I mentioned I wanted to do something with this little piece, all right? What I want to do with this is something called a tip in, all right? Something called a tip in. So here's an example of a tip in. And I do this in my travel-themed traveler's notebooks quite a bit, where I am taking something, in this case it was a postcard, I'm taking something and I am tipping it into my insert, all right? So this is tipped in to my insert. And in the past, I have used washi to do that, just a patterned washi, which was fine. Patterned washi sometimes would limit maybe what I wanted to tip in, because if I was going to tip in maybe a photo, maybe I didn't want patterned washi on the photo, or maybe I didn't have washi that was going to go or coordinate with what I wanted to kind of tip in. So this is a product that one of you, and I don't know who it is, I can't remember who it is, maybe 2 months ago, during one of our lives, one of you said, hey, you know what? You should check out this product from this person called Lauren Phelps. She has a website, Lauren Phelps Design, and she has this really cool tape. And I'm like, okay, I will do that. So I went to her website. I bought a number of different rolls of 2 different sizes. I got them. I started using them. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is pretty awesome. The product is called Tip In Tape. Tip In Tape, all right? This little tape is clear PET tape. PET stands for polyethylene, a really big word that starts with a T that I don't know how to pronounce. But it is an acid-free tape, and it has a different feel to it than washi tape. You know, washi tape, well, washi tape is paper. PET tape is not paper. It is more kind of a plastic kind of coating on it. Anyhow, what is so awesome about this tip-in tape is that it lets you do what I just showed you, but without any, you don't see it. You don't see it at all. So let me just show you in, hang tight. I just had that. Where did it go? I just had it out. It was just here. It was just here. Leo, where'd it go? That is bizarre. It is my 2025. Oh, here it is. Year in review. Okay. So this is an example, and it's really basic. There's nothing to it, but that is taking that tip-in tape and adding something into your traveler's notebook, or really anything. Anything is bound that you can't necessarily stick a page in. That is using that tip-in tape. So see how really you can't even see it? So that's what I'm going to do with that piece. I am going to fussy cut that piece, and we will use it as a little tip-in right here. So I am going to come in with 2 different scissors. I'm starting out with just my small pair of scissors, right? Just my small scissors, and cutting away all the excess from that piece. Now I'm going to come in with my little fussy cutting scissors and get in a little bit tighter here, right? Because I would just like to not have so much of that excess around our cute little Santa. So my little fussy cutting scissors, if you haven't seen these before, these are spring-loaded scissors. You'll notice they're very different looking than a regular pair of scissors, right? There's no little place to put your fingers because you're not using your fingers for the motion. You are using the palm of your hand, sits in the palm of your hand, and you're using, well, I guess you are using your fingers, but just barely. So just that small little movement is what is moving the blades on my scissors. So as I can kind of continue around, makes it very easy to do any type of fussy cutting. If you have arthritis in your hands, people tell me these are great for that because totally different motion and movement and using different muscles, different part of your fingers than you would normally use with a regular pair of scissors. So if you like the look of fussy cutting, but you hate fussy cutting itself, little pair of scissors like that can make all the difference in the world. Well, you know what they say, having the right tool for the job can make all the difference in the world. Those are my little fussy cutting scissors. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this tip-in tape. With this tip-in tape, the first thing that you do is you want to trim it. You'll notice it's not sticky yet, right? That whole thing, it's not sticky yet. It has a removable backing that we'll use, but in a really cool way. So I am just going to trim that to the length of my piece that I want to tip in. And I need to do, well, for me, I do 2 of those because I want one on the front and then one on the back side. So I'll do another one just like that. Those of you that have ordered or are looking at ordered the 2025 Year in Review Project Kit, which just went up for pre-order earlier this week, there is a roll of that tip-in tape included in that kit because we will actually be using that every month throughout the year of 2025 in that class. All right, this little thing, I just keep that little piece. That little piece is how it came, but that helps to kind of keep that roll intact. All right, so now what I do, what is unique about this? It is perforated. The tape is split. Do you see that? The tape is split so that I can peel off one part of that removable backing while this is still protected. And I can come in here and adhere that right to, hang on, right along that edge. Okay, so you see it's adhered along that edge, but this part is still not sticky because I haven't removed off that other piece. Dina, I don't know how to pronounce your last name or what the rest of your name is. How do I order the kit? Amy will pop in. Amy, if you will please pop in that 2025 Year in Review project kit in the chat. Thank you. All right, so now I've removed that piece and I am going to stick this little guy right here in the center. All right, so he's tipped in now. Look he is now tipped in. I put him lined up with the center of my insert. But as I said, I like to come in on the other side and also do the same thing. You don't necessarily have to, but it's just, I think it's more, for me, it's more secure if it is done on both sides. So we'll do the same thing again. Pull off half of that. But this, you guys, this is when, as I was saying to Lauren, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Genius. I'm like, why didn't I think of that, right? One of those, why didn't I think about inventing the egg carton? Why didn't I think of that? Because I do tip-ins like this all the time, but I've always just used washi. And so many times I've been like, oh, I'd love to tip that in, but I really can't because it is going to cover up too much of whatever, is on one side or the other. So there we go. Not fun, that just a little tip in. Now, we've done all kinds of tip ins in the past, and we did a number of them over the last couple of months. This one wasn't really a tip in. This is actually one of these pages in your insert. We just cut it and then kind of worked with it independently. But we did another one. Let's see if we can find it in here. Oh, this one tip in, but I had already put my photos on my piece and I didn't then want to put washi over that, right? Because they're pretty narrow photos. So on this one, what I ended up doing was making a little hinge and it gets adhered under my paper. But all of those ways to do it, there's a couple of different ways to do it. This one, I think is thebomb.com. That tip and tape is pretty awesome. Talia said that split would be great for other shapes too. You could de-stickify around a non-straight edge without worrying about de-stickifying the whole piece by accident. Ooh, that's a great idea, Talia. I love that. I love it. Pamela said she just bought it. It looks like this will be a game changer. So it was interesting. I had Lauren and I were chatting via email yesterday. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to need to place a reorder on that tape. And I said, I'm probably going to be borrowing, and stealing from the project kits for all of next year. Obviously you wouldn't order one without it, but if I have some more project kits, anyhow, it's just been super popular before. You guys are enjoying it and I enjoy it too. So very fun, that little kind of tip in tape. All right, so our more or less list. I am using the Opposites Attract stamp set. So opposite words, right? You have bad and good, you have then and now, you have like and dislike, you have love and hate. You have lots of different kind of compare and contrast opposites words, because we do these kind of lists from time to time. Good things that happened this week, bad things that happened this week, good things I like about, I don't know, being an empty nester, bad things, like whatever it is. So an easy list sometimes to do is like a compare and contrast, like we're going to do here, more and less. So let's go ahead and pull this out. See if I can pop that in there. Yeah. I store all of my personal stamps in the stamp storage sleeves. So sometimes you need to just add another little piece of paper there to pull it out because plastic sticks to plastic. All right. So more and less. So these are things that I want to do more and less of, basically this holiday season. And it's more that as kind of we get down to crunch time and kind of the stress level, at least for me, is getting higher and higher and higher. And really not so much of that for me is about Christmas. It's what's happening with my business right now. There's a lot of new products. There's a lot of new stuff coming out, both starting tomorrow, this past week, the 2025 year in review kit, but we are heavily now working on the idea book. I have, Terry, you'll be happy to hear this. I should have Monday my, 4 or 5 new samples for new travelers notebooks. So there's all kinds of things are going on. So you take from me holidays and all of that stuff. There's things I need to focus more on and less on, but it's not, well, you'll just see. You'll see how I'm going to approach it. All right. I think what I'd like to do is I think I'm going to continue with Rustic Wilderness. And I will do more up here and less down here. Let's look at something. Oh, I didn't even, oh, it does work. Okay, so there is a new Lail by Mail product that just arrived within the last week, and it is a new stamping block. That stamping block is 5 inches wide by 1.25 inches tall, and it is designed for stamps that are longer and narrower, right? I mean, you can use a stamping block that's a bigger rectangle, but we talked about before when we were using that bullet stamp, if we can right size our stamping block to our stamp, makes our stamping so much easier. So this little guy is going to work perfectly for my more and less. All right, one thing I need to think about as I am loading that on the block, I want to load it so it's more right justified than left justified. If I put it in the center, we'll just do this really quick. If I put it in the center, I'm okay-ish right now because brand new insert. We've only put a couple lists in it. But eventually, if I was trying to do that, say in an insert like this, let's say I was trying to stamp right here, I would definitely want to make sure that I was more right justified than center because I've got lots of bulk on one side and not as much bulk on the other side. So just kind of be thinking about as you are loading up your stamps on your stamping blocks where you're going to be putting them and if you want them to be center or maybe left justified or right justified. But I am going to make this guy left justified, or excuse me, right justified. Right-ish. I put my stamps down on my work surface and pick them up that way. I find it is a lot easier to do that than trying to place the block, or excuse me, the stamp on the block, especially as your stamps get smaller. Can be a little bit difficult to kind of get that to line up the way that you want it to line up. All right, so we are using Rustic Wilderness. I'm going to get that all inked up, and then I am going to test it. Always, 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 I can't stress that enough, test before you stamp. And this is a great reason maybe why you would want to do that. Do you see that spot in the center of the M where no ink is? Now that we look at this, the reason there's no ink there, there's like, I can see there's a little like piece of lint or something that is right in that spot. So if there's anything on your stamp, when you go to stamp, if there's something on there, the ink can't stick on that part, and then your stamped impression is going to have a missing part of it, right? A missing part in it. Terry just brought up a very good suggestion. Terry's talking about gift cards or gift certificates, right? Like electronic gift cards. That is if you are, because Christmas is coming up, and if you have family members that are like, oh, we don't know what gift for Christmas, a gift card to the website, it's a great Christmas gift. I will also tell you there is a wish list functionality on the website. So some of you will do that. You'll have a wish list going, and then you can send a link to a wish list to anyone, and then they could shop for you. So this time of year, though, gift cards are, and they're electronic, so an easy no-brainer. If you have, people are asking you what you want, or you're so hard to shop for, or whatever it is. All right, here we go. We're inking that up again, and I am going to test it one more time, just to make sure that it all looks good again. Since we were missing that little before, much better, right? See, we have fixed that little space right there. We just cleaned it, right? Sometimes your stamps will pick up things, right? They'll pick up, I don't know, a cat hair, or a dog hair, or a person hair, or lint, or dust, or whatever it may, a piece of glitter that is going to prevent something from sticking. Oops, really quick. I need to grab a pencil board. So I'm going to use this and then, we'll see. I'm going to use this and then we'll talk about it as I am going. So when you are stamping in a notebook or something where you can't take a page out, you need to be aware of what you've done before, what you're working on now. What I mean by that is, when I am stamping, things have come before, right? And sometimes if I have, I know why that happened. So I was worried about that. Depending on what I've done before, it may affect what I am doing. So what happened here, even though I had a pencil board is a flat, hard surface that you can put underneath something so that you're giving yourself a flat surface to stamp on. What happened here, you'll notice how I have some space there where it didn't stamp. The reason that happened is because it ran into this behind it. So if this was flat and these things are going on here, a pencil board will help me. But if I've got stuff going on the back side of that page, not necessarily going to help me. So sometimes things like that happen. And some of you may be like, well, that's okay. I think it looks fine. I don't really care. For me, I go, oh yeah, no. I'm not gonna like that. But there is a way that I can fix that. There are a couple of different ways that I can fix that. The way I recommend you don't try to fix that is don't try to stamp that again. Unless you are really, 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 really good, and I don't know anybody who's that good in your stamping, you are not going to get it right dead on. Now, if you were using a Misty or a stamping platform to do that, you'd have a better shot, and actually a pretty good shot, because basically you were just, your stamp's in the same place every time, and you're kind of re-inking, and anyhow. What I can do, I pulled out a couple of things. I've pulled out a Q-tip, and I've also pulled out this little thing. And every time I just remember it again. I need to add these to the website. Even the package, I don't know what they're called. My friend Big Cheryl showed me these and said, these are really awesome for doing what you normally do with a Q-tip. So basically, I'm just going to paint that area in. I'm going to paint it in. That's just a little disposable. It's got a little fuzzy end on it. But if I can kind of add some ink to that and then come in here and just kind of fill in that little area that did not get stamped. Do you see that? See that? So let's take a look at the O. See the spots in the O where there's no ink? I'm going to come in with that same little guy and ink that right up. And then maybe there's a little bit here, maybe a little bit more over here. All right, do the same thing with the R. Now you can do that. You could do that with a really fine, a good quality, not like the dollar store, but a really fine paintbrush as well. But I find it a little bit easier to use just this little guy. And if you are using a paintbrush, you don't want to be wetting it, right? Isn't that awesome? But look, it totally fixed it. So sometimes we don't do something because we're afraid we're going to mess it up. Well, I will tell you, when we're crafting, there's not a lot that you can't fix, right? There was even one day, I'm going to clean this off. There was even one day we were, I don't know, I was working on a list and I dropped the ink pad face down. Of course, that's what happens. You ever drop the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it's the jelly that flops straight down on the floor, or the peanut butter. The ink pad, right directly on my list. So there was a square mark. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Well, I'm not going to start over. I'm too far down the path. So then I just intentionally made it happen a bunch more times. Now, it wasn't my style, but it still worked, right? It still worked. It was okay. I rescued it. So there's not a lot that we can't fix when we are working on a project. So don't let being afraid that you're going to mess something up prevent you from playing and having fun, right? Life is too short. Life is too short to not play because you're afraid of messing something up. Worst comes to worst, you totally messed it up, then stamp it again on a piece of white cardstock and just put it right over it, and then no one would even know, okay? No one would even know. We'll put that over there in case I need it again. I shouldn't. But did that make sense why that happened there? Because this little bit of, and it's just teeny, there was just, that's a little thin piece of paper, but it was enough right under there to prevent kind of the stamp from, the ink from adhering in that spot. If I was doing that here, I would still put my pencil board underneath the page just because it's a good idea to get in that habit. So you're stamping on that nice hard surface. And then this one, I'd be fine because there was nothing-ish behind me. All right, so let's go ahead and do less. We've got more and we've got less. Have you guys been thinking about this list, whether you're doing it or not? Yeah, I'm okay. Whether you're doing it or not, this is something that you can be thinking about, okay? Not all of you list with me. Some of you list with me. Some of you are working on Christmas cards. Some of you are panic cleaning right now. Some of you are maybe panic shopping right now. But this is definitely something that you can, if you're not listing with me, that you can kind of think about and maybe incorporate into your day or week the rest of the year, because that is what I'm doing. Things I want to be doing more of and less of. All right, so more and less. We come down here. I didn't put a pencil board, excuse me, I didn't put a pencil board under there because, did I? Well, okay. Don't know what I did there. Coming back to this. I don't think I gave it enough pressure. I think that was my problem. I didn't give it enough pressure, but another opportunity for us to show how things happen and we don't cry over spilt milk. Now, if I didn't have a little thing like this and I didn't have a Q-tip and I didn't have a paintbrush, for a long time I used a Q-tip, but this I think gives a little bit more control. I could just come in with a sticker and put a little holly sticker or star kind of right in that area. It gives me an opportunity to decorate to cover up a little boo-boo, right? All right, there we go. Okay, I am, as I use them, cleaning, okay? I am cleaning I can see there. You can kind of see how that ink is still there. I am cleaning my stamps as I use them. It's a really good idea. It's kind of like after dinner. It's easier to put the dishes in the dishwasher after dinner than leave them in the sink all night, because the next day when you go to put them in the dishwasher, there's a lot of food that's kind of, you have to work a lot harder, right? You have to work a lot harder. Same thing with your stamps. If you clean them right away, put them away right away, they will last a long time for you. And then they're ready for you to use them when you want to use them next. All right. So there we go, more or less. Now we've got a little bit more decorating to do because there's so many fun things in this collection that we want to pull in. All right, so I had pulled out just some things again that spoke to me, right? And that's what you saw in my little flat lay there. I loved these guys, those little kind of pieces. There are also some really fun little like poinsettia pieces I pulled in. So these two are laser cuts. This piece is from the die cuts or the ephemera. Let's see, maybe it goes more this way. Okay, so that could be a nice little cluster there. A good cluster, not a bad cluster. Let's see, this one was sure pretty too, this guy. Maybe this, I don't know really which way that goes. We can make it go whichever way that we want. So I think maybe we'll put this guy up in that area and this guy down in that area. Now there are also rub-ons. There's a ton of rub-ons in the collection. I used one really basic one yesterday, day before yesterday, in one of my December dailies, that little guy. That little piece that said the most wonderful time of the year. So rub-ons are pretty awesome because you can put them on anything, right? I put that on the top of the pocket page. So if we wanted, I don't know, I think we'll go this route and then see kind of maybe where we end. Let's do that. This one is easy for me to adhere because I can just take my little glue pen when you're working with the laser cut. So if you're just joining, we are using the 49 and Market Evergreen Season collection to do a list of things we want to do more or less of right now. The laser cuts, there are a couple of different packages of laser cuts, but basically the premise is all the same. There's artwork that has been laser cut, so you get this beautiful intricate designs. But with laser cuts, you can't necessarily use your tape runner. I mean, parts of it you can, but when you get to those little parts up at the top, having a glue pen makes life a lot easier to get your little adhesive in those little spots. All right, now this, so that was one piece. This is a combination, right? That's 3 different pieces that I kind of clustered right there. When I am making little layers or clusters, there is a product that I find is super helpful. Do you ever work on kind of a cluster or something like that and you're like, ooh, okay, I've got it exactly where I want it. And then you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I've got it in place of where I want it, but then if I go take the pieces off, I won't necessarily get it in the place that I want them again. So, and I actually think I might want to add, we'll add that guy later. What I like to use is highlighter tape. So highlighter tape is pretty awesome in that It is a removable, repositionable tape that is meant to be used for like highlighting a textbook or something that's really thin paper, like a textbook or maybe a magazine or a Bible or something like that. Because it is designed to be removable and repositionable, works really well in our paper crafting projects because it pulls on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off without lifting up any of the ink or the design. Sometimes if you use washi to do this, it will pull up some of the pattern. So because it's positionable, repositionable, you'll see I keep some of the past pieces on the tape dispenser. Then once they start to get really gunky, then I just, throw them away and start using new ones. But reusable, repositionable. So I can use these guys over and over and over. Once I put my tape on like that, I can pick this up, and now instead of 3 pieces that I'm trying to piece back together the way that I wanted them, I have 1 piece that I'm working with. So that makes your layering so much easier. I mean, sometimes in the past I've tried to take a picture of something, right? I've tried to take a picture of something and then get it right back in the same position, but this just makes it so easy. So that highlighter tape, I carry, I think, 2 colors, a pink and a blue. And the color doesn't really matter, right? Because you're just using the same thing over and over, but I use a pink and a blue. Well, you'll see 2 colors on the website. Sometimes one sells out from the manufacturer, and then the other one is still in stock. So just kind of depends. And I assume that was the question that you were asking about, Kelly. I don't know, maybe different, Kelly. All right. So there we go. We'll put that down there right like that. And now I'm going to have to do probably a little bit more adhering on that top piece because it really, there wasn't a place to put any of that adhesive, right? Or not adhesive, that not tip-in tape. There wasn't really anywhere to put that highlighter. What am I saying? You know what I'm saying. I adhered everything else. There really wasn't a place because that was covered up. Let's just come in here and put a little bit right there. I don't really want that to move because that was the whole point. All right, there we go. Now my 3 pieces, 1 piece and 1 piece like I wanted them to be laying. I have one more little piece here, and that is a little pine cone. The pine cone will just now slide in here, and I did that separately because it just would have been way too hard to keep those together because there would really be nothing holding that guy in. All right, so we've got pine cones here, and glitter everywhere. And glitter everywhere. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm taking my little handy dandy ruler. And I'm just going to do a little bit of an underline right here. Like that. And I guess this one will go below. Normally I would do it above. Yeah, it's going to go below. It would look odd above. The whole point that I usually do an underline is to separate kind of the whatever I'm writing. This little guy needs a little bit of outlining, I think. All right, so let me look and see. I need to do just a little blurb here before I start my more and less, because I kind of need to explain why I'm doing this, right? Kind of why am I doing this list? Why am I doing this? No, we're just gonna dive right in. There's so much this time of year to get distracted by. These are the things I want to do more and less of. So usually I don't do some kind of preamble like that. But I felt kind of like with this, maybe I needed to do that a little bit more. So I do feel like I need something something, but jingle all the way isn't it. I do need a little, something to kind of just maybe separate that. What about this guy? This actually would work really well. Believe in magic, because that is something like that is kind of ish on my list. So what if we kind of try to incorporate that a little bit more so it's not just floating out there on its own? Maybe if we take this little guy and put it here, I think that will work. This is too wide, so we'll cut this little piece off. All right, get some little glue on this little greenery piece. So as we're thinking about this, and as I'm getting ready to list, like I said, if you missed what I was saying earlier, totally inspired by a design team project, a project that Susanna Lee did earlier this week. And it is on the blog, and you can kind of get a feel for her perspective on this. But really doing, no try, do or do not try. For me, I really want to focus on some things through the rest of the year. So as we get going, what, I want you to think about this, and whether you are writing things down or thinking in your head, think about maybe what you might want to be more and less of this holiday season. And I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I am going to get just a little circle, plain little circle, bullet stamp. And that is from Bullets and More. That is the very first bullet. That's like one of the very first stamp sets I did. But I want to keep it pretty simple, but also kind of little berries. It might remind us a little bit of like a little berry. All right. So let's look at this color. I had Barn Door out. I had kind of looked at the different colors, looked at my swatches. Oopsie. And it looked like that this one might be a good match. Looks pretty good. All right, so here we go. The things that I am, I don't want to say focusing on. I think this will start to come together in your head as I write. This is a constant on my list. Spend more time outside. When I get busy and new products and launches and things coming up mean busy, I don't leave the house. And the next 10 days-ish, right? What's today? 9 days, 10 days. I would like to spend more time outside. I need to find the Christmas spirit. I have not been feeling it, right? And part of this means find, part of it means search for and find, right? And so I mentioned Nick and I were, having coffee, and he's like, what are your lists today? And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, more and less. And these are some of the things I'm thinking about. And I said, Christmas spirit. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't even feel like it's Christmas. I mean, our whole house is decorated, and I just don't feel like it's Christmas. And so as we were talking, he said, you know what? Let's turn on the Christmas music right now. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So I turned Christmas music on, right? And so some things like that are easy things to do, right? If I feel like I need more Christmas spirit, well, let's turn the Christmas music on. Let's put on light a pine scented candle, right? Just to help me get more in the Christmas spirit. Do as much early preparation for Christmas dinner as possible. That is a huge stressor every year. We have 20 to 25 people over, and we have like sit down dinner. And it is a huge undertaking. And no matter how much prep that we do ahead of time, it is always Christmas Day is always incredibly stressful getting ready for that. So Nick and I were talking about that as well. I want to do more early prep, as much early prep as we can as possible, and getting all the linens out, making sure everything's ready to go, set. If we need to iron, getting everything ironed, things like that. All right, next up, reading. Reading. I love to do it. It makes me calm and gives me a sense of peace, which I could use right now. So last week we did bucket list. This is different for me than a bucket list. This is very, very, very different for me than a bucket list. Here's another one. Be fully present. And when I say present, I don't mean Christmas present, right? Be fully present. Because I am not, these days, I'm not very present. I am like a pinball machine, right, Amy? I'm like a pinball machine. Like literally, like, and you know, when a pinball like hits the side of the machine when it's inside and it makes all those jarring noises, and that's how I am. I'm like literally jumping from one thing to the next, this to the next to the next. And yeah, I would like to be more fully present, be fully present. And the last one is be more spontaneous. Too much routine right now. Right? So be more spontaneous. So those are the things for me that I want to do more of. And those are the things I'm going to kind of focus on doing more of in between now and the end of the year. Less. Things I want to do less of. The more is easier than the less, right? The more is easier than the less. Oh, but I just saw. What about this? What? Total distracted here. So on the back side of here, we've got some room on the back side. What do we want to put on the back side? That kind of, well, and I have to be careful here because if I put jolly, does that mean I want less jolly? I don't think it does, but I think that could work there. I want less jolly. And that's cute as it is, right? I could have just left it like that, but I think we'll put that little guy on there. Ooh, he's too far over. Got a little bit into that tape. We don't want him in the tape. That tape needs to be able to move on its own, back and forth. Okay, less. I don't know how this one's gonna work. It just may not work at all. So just, we gotta address that right now. Less work. I don't need to do it all, and I can't. I need to focus on what, I can't say what is important. What is a nice to have? And what is a have to have? Right, Amy? Amy and I were having this discussion yesterday. Yeah. Stress. I would like less stress. I would like less stress. That work less can and will help with that. Okay. Less last minute details. Running around, and I'm just total ad-libbing here. Running around the last few days before the holiday causes so much stress. And you know what? This is my list. Your list may be spend more time with the grandkids, or it may be spend less time with the grandkids. I mean, I know that okay, probably not, but you may have totally different things. Maybe you need more wrapping. Maybe you need less. Maybe you need less spending. Maybe you need more time with family. Maybe you need less time with family, right? And that's okay to say. That is so totally okay to say. This is your list, and this is how you're feeling. So you get to decide what is here, right? You get to decide what is here. I'm missing a bunch in the chat. Oh, Amy's got a good one. Instagram scrolling gets me every time. Less of that for me, right? Less social media, right? So for me, if I am procrastinating and I am really stressed, sometimes that's an easy to go to social media. I'm just going to jump on social media for a minute. It'll just take my mind off of things for a minute. Next thing you know, 2 hours later, you're like, holy cow, I just missed that thing I needed to check off on my to-do list, right? All right. Oh, that's funny. Look at mindless screen time. That's what's next on my list. Mindless screen time. And that is including games on my phone, because that's another one. If I need a break, a lot of times I'll pick up my phone, right? That's not a break. I'll pick up my phone and go on social media. I'll pick up on my phone and play Candy Crush. If I have a break like that, I should be coming over here. Maybe I should be reading. Maybe I should be spending more time outside. Maybe I should be more spontaneous and going on a walk or calling a friend, or, so they all kind of tie in together, including games on my phone, social media, and binge watching late at night. That is a routine that Nick and I have gotten into that is not a good one. As I work so much that, sometimes it'll be 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It'll be like, okay, let's sit down and watch a show. And when you sit down and watch a show and you're binge watching something, next thing you know, you're 3 shows in and it's like, oh my goodness. So then that goes back to maybe sleep or other things that aren't happening because, All right, then my last one is bouncing around. That's not physically. Bouncing around from task to task or project to project and not completing. Of all those, that's probably the hardest one for me personally. Because I don't know. I think sometimes if you're an entrepreneur, and you're also creative, that things come into your mind. You're working on something and things are going great, and then something comes into your mind and you've got to redirect. You got to redirect while that inspiration is hot and go to that other place, and which leaves whatever you were working on unfinished. And then later, sometimes it's harder to come back and finish that. So that, yeah. I've lost the lid to my pen. This little guy, it's one of the other little guys that I had pulled out from one of the laser cuts. It's just that little, looks like a heart button that has been tied with a little string. Well, I've kind of got some extra space right here. So what if that guy just kind of fills in right there? And then I think it's good. I think it's ready to roll, but, oh, there it is on the floor. On the floor. Even with both windows open, I am woo hot. Woo woo hot. Woo woo hot. All right, so let's take our little glue pen again, and then we are ready to roll. Ready to roll. Okay. Then this one, I am just going to write December 2024. Okay, those are the things that I want to be aware of right now. Aware of doing more, aware of doing less. Do we want to put one of these little guys on here maybe? I feel like it needs a little something more in the center. All right, there we go. And we have to outline it too. So thank you to Susanna, design team member extraordinaire, for the inspiration for that one. This is a list that, project that she had done earlier this week. And I emailed her and said, oh my gosh, love it. Beautiful, beautiful photo of her. Beautiful photo of her. That was on her list. And I said, I am so inspired. I would like to use this as a list topic for Saturday. Okay, so while I pick these things up, we're doing 2 giveaways, friends. We have this. I didn't use it, obviously, but this is such a fun. This little guy is so fun. Could I hang it over there? No, it'd be distracting, but love that. Anyhow, so we're going to do 2 giveaways. Lately, we've always done at least 2 giveaways every time we were together. That's my thing. I like to share. So 2 giveaways, and I don't know, the last couple of months or the last, I don't know, whatever the time frame has been, we've kind of switched things up and do 1 live giveaway and 1 after party giveaway. So after party giveaway, let's talk about that first. After party giveaway, basically anyone can participate. You don't have to be watching live. You don't have to be in the chat because it happens after the video is over. So that one we'll talk about first because that's an easy one to talk about. Oh no, that's an easy one to talk about first. That one you have until Saturday, December 28th, 2024, to leave a comment on the video when it's over. So not here in the chat live, leave a comment on the video when it is over. And before we're together again next Saturday, the 28th, I will draw that morning 1 random lucky comment to win a $25 gift code, coupon code, whatever it is, for you to spend whatever you'd like next time you shop on the website. Okay, so that is after party, and anyone can participate in that. Leave a comment on the video once it's over. We're also going to do a live one now. A live one means it happens here while I'm live in the chat. So chat just kind of happens. You guys will chat amongst yourselves for a bit. And at one point soon, I will stop talking and I'll say, okay. And then I'll just take my finger and scroll up in the chat. Wherever my finger stops, that person will win a $25 shopping coupon code or whatever. Also to shop on the website, whatever they would like. Okay. So, well, whatever they would like for $25. Well, you can spend more, but I'm giving you $25 to go towards. Okay, let's get this little guy put away. We're going to go to our next list. Our next 2 lists are 1-pagers. All right, so I'm going to do those. Love that little tip in, so fun. We're going to do those 2 side by side. I'll be using different product for them. So the product will not coordinate at all, okay? The product will not coordinate at all. And some of you, that drives you absolutely batty, okay? So here is an idea. If having 2 different lists side by side, it's not 2-pagers, 1-pagers with totally different product. If that drives you batty, there is a super easy way to add a second page. Like, look, that's a second page where I just did pattern paper, did a little quote, did some laser cuts and some rub-on. So You can make a second page for anything that you do super, super easily. This is another one. That was the What a Day list that we looked at from November, the beginning. That is the second page, right? I just got coordinating paper. That collection is Birdsong. Just got coordinating paper and put it right next to it. So if what I'm about to do is going to give you the heebie-jeebies, then that's okay. You just make your 2-page list and you'd have two-page lists instead of 2 1-page lists. All right. So let me get the product out for our next list, and then I will stop and let my fingers do the walking. Oh yes, here we go. All right. So for this list, I am going to use what I have left. I'm going to use what I have left of kind of a mismatch of things from Simple Vintage Holly Jolly Collection. Okay, Simple Vintage Holly Jolly Collection. So that's what I'm going to use for this list. And this list is a holiday to-do list. Tracy, Glimmers is the last one. Glimmers is the third list that we will do, okay? So this one, holiday to-do list. So this is going to go really pretty quickly, all right? It's going to go pretty, well, you know me, pretty quickly. So now I'm going to stop, and my fingers doing the walking, and Heather Graham. Heather Graham, you are the winner of a $25 gift coupon code, whatever you want to call it, to my website. So Heather, shoot me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. Tell me that you were the live winner of that, and I will send you a coupon code to go shopping. Go shopping. Congratulations, Heather. Congratulations. All right. Okay, I know I missed, okay, here's the deal, friends. I missed all kinds of comments and questions in there, right? Because they were coming fast and furious. So if you typed a comment or a question and I missed it and you would like me to see it, just go ahead and type it again in the chat. If you put it in all uppercase, then I should see it when I look up. All right, so first one is just a holiday to-do list. Super basic holiday to-do list. These are things that I need to do in between now and Christmas. Lots of us have lists like these, right? Lots of us have holiday to-do lists or whatever kind of to-do list, but sometimes it's fun to make them into a little bit more of a decorative list because remember, it's telling a story again. It is telling a story, right? We're telling a story about a particular point in our life. White cardstock heavy enough for a card making? Oh, absolutely, Nancy. Absolutely. That Nina Bright White is for sure. So telling a story, but sometimes you know what we use? Do you guys? Sometimes we, I'll even do like a grocery list and put it in here and decorate it. Again, it's a time capsule. It's telling a story about a time in your life, right? When our kids were little, my grocery list had diapers and formula and dino nuggets from Costco on it. Well, now, hopefully, knock on wood, none of those things are on my shopping list. So tells a story. And anti-caffeine crafts. Why do I use traveler's notebooks? I have been paper crafting, scrapbooking for 27 and a half years when I was pregnant with our oldest son. And I've done all the things. I have done 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11 layouts back then, 12 by 12 scrapbooking layouts. I've done mini books and still do mini books. I've done memory planning. I've done a lot of different formats. I started using a traveler's notebook about 8 years ago, and it's just something that very much has resonated with me. I'm a person that writes everything down, and traveler's notebook is a really easy way for me to like keep my life organized because in the traveler's notebook cover, I can add up to 4 inserts, right? So in an insert, or excuse me, in a traveler's notebook, because there are, I need to adhere that, in mine, there are 4 elastics. So I can have 4 different notebooks going at any given time. So I can have one for project planning. I can have one for a calendar. I can have one for inspiration. I can have one for stamp ideas, whatever it is. And that I have a different section notebook for each of those topics. So it's just been a great way for me to kind of keep things organized. And that's really kind of how I started using them. But now for me, I do almost all my creative this way. I really am drawn to this smaller size. For me, it's a lot more approachable. Also, my life has changed quite a bit from when I was doing like 12 by 12 scrapbooking. Our kids are grown. They're grown adults. We're empty nesters. And so I'm documenting different kinds of things than I have in the past. And for me, this kind of smaller, different format just really has kind of sparked my creativity again. For a while, I kind of lost my passion for creating because my life changed, right? Kids weren't around anymore. I wasn't following them around a camera. I didn't have a lot of photos in a lot of circumstances to document maybe my day to day. So in a larger format, like a 12 by 12, for me, I kind of lost the passion for that. But smaller format, and that's why I use a traveler's notebook in a very kind of shortened explanation. But those of you that are here watching live, and if you're in the chat, I would love for you to, if you use a traveler's notebook, pop in the chat and add to that. Like, what is it about a traveler's notebook that you like, that you use it? And some of you do all the things, right? Some of you still do 12 by 12s and do things in a traveler's notebook. And okay, so holiday to-do list. This one is going to be a pretty simple list. I will tell you, if you are very much in the Christmas spirit right now, and you would like to document more Christmas things, and you're like, ooh, maybe I haven't listed before, or you haven't done it for a while, and you want to, make some lists, and you want to do some holiday lists, in the idea books, both idea books, but definitely the original one, the first one. There is a chapter, so chapters by season for Christmas, page 39. This will give you, because this was the first 3 years that we were listing, 20, 21, and 22. So this is like 3 years worth of different Christmas lists, things that you're looking forward to. We did this one this year already. Holiday bucket list, we did one of those. Your favorite holiday traditions. Maybe you've got shopping lists, Christmas songs, gift lists, memorable gifts that you've received, your Christmas list as a kid. So we did a list about our favorite, things that we were asking for Christmas when we were kids, and I incorporated a Sears wish book. Remember the Sears wish book? Terry, I always think of you on this one when it comes to this one. But I just went to Google and found a copy and saved it to my computer and printed it out. But anyhow, lots of different Christmas related and themed lists in the idea book if you want to keep going with that. Okay, so this is my things to do list. Now, let's pull out sticker book. And I haven't looked at this yet to decide maybe what I wanted to use. This could be kind of fun. Look at this little Santa. So little Santa's sitting in an awesome armchair, and he's looking at a piece of paper. That kind of makes it look like he's making a little list, right? Maybe he's making a list and checking it twice, so we could maybe use him on here. I think we're going to go directly on the, I think we're going to stamp directly on the insert, or do our list directly on the insert, as opposed to doing it on pattern paper. Now, I will tell you, that person that asked the question about why I use a traveler's notebook, there are some people that do what we do in a different format than a traveler's notebook. Some people list along with us that don't use a traveler's notebook. We've talked about how you could use you could do any of your lists on a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. So if you, maybe you have a photo of your Christmas tree. A photo of your Christmas tree, and then you could make a list like this do this kind of journaling on that 12 by 12 scrapbook page, right? Not everything that we do is photos. If you're doing a 12 by 12 layout, a lot of times you like them to do that. But you can totally work any of these lists into whatever, format that you like to do your documenting or memory keeping. All right, let's look. Let's see, sticker book. Oh, this little guy. I love this, that little clip that says from the desk of Santa. Now, here's the deal. If we're going to use that, I feel like we have to use a piece of pattern paper. And this I have, let's look. We could do that. I think that would still work with, let's do it. We're just going to do it. That pattern paper came from Simple Vintage Holly Jolly. That is nowhere to be found. Those are sold out everywhere. So we can't use, you know, if you don't have that and you're like, ooh, I'd like to use that. But there were some great, really neutral papers in in Evergreen Season that we just used that could also work. All right, so let's trim this guy down. Trimming this down to 4 3/4. Actually, I better go a little bit narrower because I already did my outlining on that. I'll go a little bit narrower since I already did my outlining on that. All right, and then also a little bit shorter. All right, that's to start. Now, if I want to do we wanted to use this, we're going to use that little guy, and we also wanted to use that little clip, right? That little clip right there. So with that clip, you know what? I'm totally going to change the direction that I am going because that clip has a lot of red in it, and that's a lot of red. I feel like I want to get a little bit more green in. So this is my very picked over Holly Jolly. So let's come back to my, could we use that? So I could use this, however, that little sticker would get a little bit lost on there. So we need something a little bit more neutral. Well, if we did that one, let's do that one. And then I think it will stand out a little bit more. Okay. Change of direction. This guy. Is he narrow enough? Nope, needs to be a little bit more narrow. Also, truth be told, I started thinking a little bit about what's going next to it and thought, ooh, that is really, really, really gonna clash because it's a totally different collection than I'm gonna use next to it. I'm so glad you're chatting away. Dina, the tip-in tape. So it's the tip-in tape that I have on the website. It is the 20 millimeter, and that is the only one that I brought in the website. She has a narrower version, a 10 millimeter, but I will tell you, depending on what you're using it for, you really need, in my opinion, the 20 millimeter, because that basically gives you 10 millimeters to hold on to something and then 10 millimeters to hold on to the other part. So I carry the 20. Alrighty, so now let's get our list ready, our white cardstock. Instead of white, we are going to use the graph paper, just to give it a little bit more, of a pop. So that is one of my 6x8 paper packs. I have two different 6x8 paper packs. One is kind of that really subtle like grid or graph paper, and the other one is just a lined piece. But they are light blue. All right, so we know we need to trim it to this height that I just made my pencil mark there. So that height is about 7. And when it comes to the, sorry, I didn't want to do that. I need the width. I'll explain why in a sec. My height needs to be much shorter than that because I want that clip to be holding it on. So that's about 3.5. My little piece here is about 3.5, like that. But we need to trim the height again because I would really like this little clip to be holding that list on. Like that, right? But it's going to, that's too tall. So we'll just trim from the bottom. We'll figure out exactly where we want it to be and then we'll trim from the bottom. Maybe like that. Ooh, that wasn't smart to do yet. Was it? I need to trim that off. We'll trim right there. Right there. I think that's where I made the little mark. Silly me, I put the adhesive on it first. All right, let's get this out of the way and see what we're thinking here. All right, there we go. From the Desk of Santa. All right, now we think we'd like to have a Santa down here. This little Santa sticker was sure cute, right? That goes there. Let's look and see. We want any washi? I'm gonna move this up just a little bit taller. Just a titch. And then I like this guy, but not so much with that. We'll try this one. We'll try this one. Let's see. Oh, we're chatting all kinds of things. Oh, we're chatting printers, photo printers. Awesome. Yeah, there is a big difference, but in my opinion, I should say, there is a big difference between the Canon Selfie and the Epson PictureMate PM400. It's no secret. You guys know I love the Epson PictureMate. That's my thing. That's my jam. It's a more expensive printer, right? It's a more expensive printer, that's for sure, than your Epson, than your Selfie. And it does a little bit more. It uses a different technology as well than the Selfie does. So the Epson PictureMate uses ink, and it's a 4-color ink, so it's the true CMYK. It uses 4 colors. Whereas the Canon Selfie uses, it's not a 4-color, and I don't exactly know how it works. I just know that it's not a 4-color process. So it's, you know what, it's different. There are some people out there that do comparisons, so you can see what one image looks like versus another. But you know, if you use your Selfie and you love your Selfie, then that's what works for you and that's what you like. If you use a little like Sprocket pocket printer and that's what works for you and that's what you like, then you know what you like and that's what works. Yeah, always lots of discussions about the photo printers here, that's for sure. All right, I need a few just little bullets. We'll probably go back to one of our bullet stamps. Maybe this is how we bring in a little bit more green. We'll grab our Rustic Wilderness again. There's always, when we talk about printers, discussions and questions about, well, what's the cost and how does the cost compare to, you know, having, you know, your things printed, you know, online or whatever it is. For me personally, it's all convenience because I need a photo. When I need a photo, I need a photo. I mean, it's generally right then. Like if I was using photos anytime today, I would be printing them out this morning. So with the Epson PictureMate, you can probably, people say about 100 prints out of a cartridge. A lot of it depends though on how much color you're using, what size photos you're using. So if you're printing, if everything you're printing is 5x7, then obviously more. So you'd expect maybe fewer prints than if you were printing all the 3.5x5s. So lots of discussions about that printer. I will tell you, for me, the power is in the app, the Epson Creative Print app. And so that is where you can do some really cool things. I've just pulled out the To-Do, List Builder To-Do stamp set. So I am going to grab To-Do and List. This is a to-do list, right? This is a to-do list. And that will kind of go there. And I will use green for that. We'll use green for those guys. I feel I need something. We need something else here. We need like small little icons. And I am not seeing, well, probably because it's very picked over. I've used this quite a bit. Maybe this little guy goes here. Oh, what? Okay, let's put it here. If we put that here, well, let's hold on. Let's see. Let's stamp our title before we know what we want to do there. Because I think if I stamp my title in that green, it's not quite going to look right. Okay, let's grab some little stamping blocks. Gosh, I feel like I'm going so fast. I don't feel like I'm like chatting with you guys. Let's see. Shutterfly, Walgreens, some of you print at home, some of you print Costco. I mean, Costco's don't have in-house anymore, but they do, I think, still online. I'm not sure. Lots of different places to do them. But then again, you really kind of know, you kind of need to know what you need, right? You kind of need to know what you need ahead of time. I remember back in the day, like this is way back in the day, even before digitals. Okay, this is like when Jack was born. So 27 years ago. You know, he was our first brand new baby. So I'm taking like thousands of photos, and it was all film camera back then, right? It was all film. And so I would wait until like Walgreens or wherever it was would have like double print Tuesdays or whatever it was. So I'd end up with these huge orders, well, a roll or many rolls. And then you'd have two of each, two of the same print. Yeah, there's lots of those photos still floating around. And I'm like, why do I have 8,000 photos of baby Jack when he was 3 days old in front of the mirror, staring at himself? We're like, well, just because that's what we did, right? Okay, there's to do. And then we'll do list below that. Oh yeah, I was saying before, you can tell, I just canceled my hair appointment. I need a little root touch up there, right? My hair appointment was for Monday, and it's just not going to happen. I didn't cancel it. I'm rescheduling it. Let's be clear on that. We're just rescheduling it. Denise, I love that. I've never heard that. Buy once, cry once. Buy once, cry once. Well worth the money. Basically investment, right? You pay the investment once and then you reap the benefits for a long time after that. I've never heard that. That's fun. Buy once, cry once. All right. So to-do list. You'll notice I am stamping these two stamps independently of one another. I like to control the placement. I like to control how close I can get my stamps together. So I like to place them, stamp them independently of one another. That's why I just did it twice. Double prints, I know, right? Auntie Caffeine said it was so exciting to take a photo with your film camera, drop off the film, and then pick up like 10 packs of double prints. Yeah, and then you're like, oh my gosh, why are there 8 shots of my feet? Like, what the heck happened, right? Well, that's back in the day when you didn't intentionally take shots of your feet. Sometimes people like to take shots of their feet, right? Like at a manhole cover in different cities, or I know Vicky likes to do that. All right, so let's just do a little separator line here. Maybe not. Maybe we don't want that. Maybe that'll be too much. Let's grab our little holly here again, though. Oh, that works. There. That jazzed it up a little bit. This is my holiday to-do list. Things that I need to still get done before I'll have 12 things at least. You guys want to see something like hilarious? So I told you again, part of the Saturday routine, Nick and I have, we're having coffee or whatever. And he's like, what are your lists going to be about? So this is my handy dandy notebook that I, use to do all of our list planning and all that. And so it was out on the counter last night. And so when I picked it up this morning and we start talking, I'm like, Nick, look what he wrote. He wrote on my list, Number one, be nice to Nick. Be nice to Nick. It's not that I'm not nice to him. He's just being funny. Be nice to Nick. So guess what? That has to go on my list. Be nice to Nick. Oh, wait. I need to check to see. I crossed one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. So let's just do some really quick space planning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that won't work. But some of these will be maybe a little bit longer than others. So we're just going to go. We're just going to start going. And if I need to add some more words to fill in the blanks, then I will. All right. To-do list. The first thing, be nice to Nick. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yeah. That's funny that he wrote that. He even put a 1 with the circle around it. Nick, such a character. All right, next up is I need to, okay, I gotta be kind of quiet because my windows are open. So in our neighborhood, we kind of have an agreement that you don't do neighbor gifts. We do donations to the food bank as a neighborhood, and we've got a link and everything. So I never plan on neighbor gifts, but then you'll have a couple neighbors that slide in a neighbor gift, and then you're like, oh, shoot. So on my holiday to-do list, I need to go get two neighbor gifts. And I already know what I'm going to do. So apologies for being so quiet there, right? Had to be quiet. Didn't want any neighbor out there to hear me. So I have these fun little like Christmas looking tea towels from Rival Paper Company. And I'm going to go to Whole Foods later today. And I'm going to find a loaf of holiday bread or baked bread or banana bread or something like that. I'm just going to wrap that in the plastic, of course, wrap that in the tea towel and use the holiday tea towel kind of as the wrapping. Okay. All right. Car wash gift cards. Oh, that's a great one, Zen girls. That's so good because especially here in Utah when we've got snow all the time and your cars get so dirty because of the salt and stuff. All right. Be nice to Nick. 2 neighbor gifts. Next up, we have I need to do our Utah Food Bank donation. I still haven't done that yet. And that is cash. That's been very cool. So we have our neighborhood is, we moved in 6.5 years ago now, I think. Is that right? I think 6.5 years ago. Anyhow, 5.5 or 6.5. And brand new neighborhood. So all the homes built, and we were one of the first 4 families that moved in. So now it's completely full, and there are like 165 homes or whatever. But long story, I won't explain why. Someone was asking, and I went because we have a link for our neighborhood to the food bank, Utah Food Bank every year. I was able to go, I think for the last 4 years, maybe last 4 years, and tally up the money. Well, over 4 years, it was like $22,000 in donations. And for the Utah Food Bank, their buying power, it's like $8 for every $1 actual dollar that gets donated. They have like $8 buying power to buy food. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was huge. So that has been a really, really cool thing. And I love the idea of, if people have $5, people have $100, whatever it is that they're donating. It's just kind of awesome. I haven't done that yet. I need to do that. I need to do that. Utah Food Bank donation. Need to put together our Christmas dinner grocery list. That's a big one. We have, what I said, between 20 and 25 people every year. So that is a big list. And then right after that, we need to do the grocery shopping. And that needs to happen probably tomorrow. because that's not something you want to wait on. It's probably, well, one of the things that Nick cooks, a big prime rib, and that has been purchased. You don't want to wait to the end for that, or else you're in trouble. Zen Girls, did I make a list for the food bank story? I should. So I've made lists before, and how our family kind of likes to give back, and some of the different things that we do. So that has been on the list of how our family likes to give back. Maybe this is my issue. I think I just figured out something, friends. Oh, I don't want to mess with that. I think my camera's too high. That's why things are odd. Never mind. You can tell that's been bothering me. C. C is Nick's mom. C's birthday present. Everyone calls her C, Grandma C, and C, her name's Carolyn, but she is, for years, we all call her C. And that's a hard one. She turned 80 last year. And, we always are, so we've done garage, we've done car wash gift cards, and we've done movie gift cards, and it's just, that's a hard one. So, but that is one that needs to be done very quickly, because her birthday's tomorrow. We won't see her tomorrow, but her birthday is tomorrow. So got to get that done. Santa is sitting on a really wild print chair. He is. Look at Santa's sitting. Santa's chair is holly and berries. Isn't that fun? But it looks like he's kind of looking at his to-do list. Right? All right. What's on your to-do list, friends? Do you have lots of to-do lists? Do you have lots of things on your to-do list? Or are you one that pretty much everything is done and you're kicking back and you're like, okay, I'm ready to enjoy the holidays? Not here. Not here. We need to wrap the rest of the presents. Now, we did a bunch of that last week, because Jack and his fiance, Kat, they live in Washington State. So we sent them, we wrapped their things and shipped them up there. We also did a Secret Santa as a family, where we did some shopping, and then those things got shipped out of state. So that was done as well. So there aren't very many presents left to wrap, but some things, and would like to get those done. That was another thing Nick and I talked about. Let's try to get so many of these things done really quickly, soon. Soon. I mean, let's be honest, today's Saturday and Christmas is Wednesday, but sooner than later, so it's not all last minute, right? Hello, Valerie. Nice to see you. She's all done. I love it. I love that you're done. Joe Disney fan. Yeah. Have you ever given her gift cards to different restaurants that you take her to? Yes. I mean, it's a hard one. It's always a hard one with her. Yeah, it's a hard one. I have no problem with my mom. I mean, all kinds of things, easy, but I need to keep working on, I won't say finish, keep working on my December daily. I'm not too far off. I made a lot of progress yesterday, so I think I just finished the 18th, so that's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, what else do I have? I have, I need to do I'm just going to write LBM Christmas email. Get my little holiday message ready to go out. I need to, card for Jeff. He's our UPS guy. He always gets a card with a nice little something in it, and I have not seen him yet, so I need to get that done, because ideally he gets that before Christmas instead of after. All right, next up, my last one. I need to decorate and prep. We'll decorate for Christmas dinner, our Christmas dinner party. And now really when I say decorate, it's just basically get all we have big tables that we borrow and chairs that we borrow, but then the linens on the tables and all of that stuff. So that is, yes. All right, so there we go. That is my list of things that I need to do. And I have that list like in the back of my head, or I have that list on another piece of paper. Like I would have lots of to-do lists, right? I don't do this with all my to-do lists, but sometimes it's kind of fun just to document and in a fun, cute way, right? Some of us need to have a little creativity every day, right? It like feeds our soul. So this is a great way to get kind of scratch that creative itch. And maybe the person that asked before why I like to work in a traveler's notebook, that's also part of it, because it is a very small canvas that if I feel like I need to be a little bit creative every day, if I need to make my to-do list, if I grab a piece of paper, grab a couple stickers, some washi, smack it down and write my list, then it kind of helps to scratch that list, but it's also documenting. Oh, speak of the devil. I think that's him. I think that's the UPS guy. Oh, we're all going to say a silent prayer right now. We're going to say a silent prayer of what he's dropping off. We are really hoping he's dropping off what I'm hoping he's dropping off. All right, so there we go. That one's ready to roll. And then we have one more list, you guys. One more. This one you'll be seeing a lot more about this in 2025. So in probably about a month. This is the one I think I'm most excited about. Of all the lists today, this is the one that I am most excited about. This one is called Glimmers. Glimmers, I had never heard the term before until my friend Sherry brought it up last week. Well, when we were out of town with them. Yeah, last week. She brought up the term. And she sent me a screenshot or shared something that she had seen on Instagram about glimmers. And so if you have never heard the term glimmers, this is what she sent me. So I printed this out. In the blog post for this listing session, and that is linked in the description box of the video, right up towards the top, that will take you to the blog post. I have included a link to an amazing article that I found online about glimmers, but this is what glimmers are. Today I learned about a term called a glimmer, which is opposite of a trigger. Glimmers are those moments in your day that make you feel joy, happiness, peace, or gratitude. Once you train your brain, that is key. Once you train your brain to be on the lookout for glimmers, these tiny moments will appear more and more. And that is a glimmer, okay? So when she kind of brought that up, let's take a quick hydration break, okay? When she brought that up to me, a glimmer, I'm like, a glimmer, a glimmer, a glimmer. And it kind of percolated in my head for a little bit, 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, I really like that idea of a glimmer. Like that is a really cool thing. So as I started researching it earlier this week, when I was decided this was going to be one of our lists for today, it is a term that was coined by a woman named Deb Dana. Okay, so that glimmer is not my term. That is something that she coined, but apparently this has been made a big appearance on social media over the last, I don't know, whatever little while is, but it's kind of gaining a lot of traction. And the whole idea behind a glimmer is just to, oh yes, yep. I will also, here, I'll do this. I will take a screenshot of this. I have a screenshot. I'll take a screenshot. My gosh. This is a screenshot. I will put this in the Facebook group, okay? I'll put it in the Mail by Mail Facebook group later today, that little thing. So you'll have that. But if this is something you're like, wow, this is maybe like an aha moment for you, like it was for me, go read. I'll put a link to the blog article in the Facebook group along with this, because it is this article that I found. I don't know, it's a really cool thing. And to me, this all kind of tied in with the more or less thing a little bit, that right now, for some people, it's a really hard time. And it's not just right now. Maybe it's all the time is a hard time. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world. There's some really negative things in our world. And unfortunately, that's not going to go away. So sometimes we get so weighted down by some of those really big things that if we can start to train ourselves to look for and identify and be aware of little glimmers, like a rainbow. Maybe you see a rainbow, and normally you see a rainbow and you're like, oh, there's a rainbow. But if you see a rainbow and you're like, oh, look, that's a nice little glimmer. It's added a nice little, positive to my day. Or you know, petting a dog or petting a cat or seeing a baby smile or someone paying a compliment. There's so many things. And really, this is the type of thing that it's very personal, right? So something may be a glimmer to you that is not a glimmer to someone else. So it's it can be a very, very, very personal thing, right? But there are a couple of really important things about it is that when this said, once you train your brain, right, it's one of those things that we just need to be conscious of. So if we're more conscious of looking for and identifying things like that, then we'll start to see and become more and more aware of those. And if there are those little things, opposite of triggers, right? We all know triggers. Lord only knows we all know triggers. But if we can start to be aware of and train our brain to look for those, I just think it's one of those things that can make a really big difference in our life, in my life, in your life, especially when things are hard, right? Especially when things are hard. So really all about setting an intention to kind of be aware and have an open mind and to look for them. I will tell you, when in my more and less list, when I was talking about pinball, and how I bounce around a lot. And part of it is being an entrepreneur and part of it is being a creative. Well, yesterday I had a lot of things to do. Was working on launching this new season pass thing. I had so many things to do. And this glimmer thing kept in the back of my head. It was in the back of my head, in the back of my head. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm totally changing one of the stamps that was going to be for January. And in about 20 minutes, I had the whole stamp set designed and ready to go. And that is, it's going to be a glimmer stamp set that you will see come out mid-January. So we'll have a stamp set. This will be a list, you guys, that I will continue to do on a regular basis, a glimmers list, because I think it's something that will be really helpful for me in my world. And I'm hoping that it may be something that, you know, you guys kind of adopt as well, whether you're making a list about it in the future or whether it's more that you are just being intentional and being aware and watching and recognizing them. So yeah, kind of fun. All right, so glimmers. When I was trying to explain this to Nick, it's interesting. Because he's like, oh, I know. Okay. So like when someone lets you in for traffic or when someone holds the door open for you. And I'm like, yes. But I'm like, I'm trying to make a list of things that like happened to me that I can document, like what just happened to me this week or the last couple of days. So it could be for you. It could be really any type of glimmers. Oh, and caffeine crafts. I love that. Deb Dana's Glimmer Journal is coming out in 2025. I've saved it to my favorites. Might be a must buy for next year. I need to go look for that because I just learned about, like I said, I just learned about glimmers last week, which I thought was just it's such a cool concept. All right, so what I'm going to do for this list is I'm going to pull in some product from the Sugar Plum collection from Pretty Little Studio. This was just a really fun, bright pink collection, kind of pink Christmas. And so I thought it might be fun to use this. Now what's probably going to happen is I'll probably end up using a pink Santa. And this is where some of you will cringe because we have one kind of color palette over here and we're going to have a totally different color palette over here. So yes, I'm thanking my friend Sherry for, and Sherry is not a crafter at all, but I'm thanking my friend Sherry for bringing that whole like glimmers concept to my attention. So this is the 6x9 paper pack from Sugar Plum. This has been a super popular collection. I've reordered it a couple times. It will be done. I will not reorder just because, you know, we're kind of at the end of where people are buying holiday product, but there is some of it still on the website, a little bit. And it's linked in the description box of the video. So I think we might just totally embrace this pink, right? Embrace the pink. What if we did this? What if we did, ooh, okay, no. I was thinking pink and green would be cute, but That's probably too close, but too far away from that. We might just end up with a pink here. If you are cringing because of these two side by side, don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can cringe if you want. But we talked about earlier how you can, I'd really like just a green, how you can turn a one-page list into a two-page list really easily, right? Even if you don't have content to go on the second page list. Maybe in this example, if I, you know what, actually, I'm going to totally change my plan. Because what I was just going to say, if you wanted a two-page list, you could either take a photo of your grocery list here or write the grocery list on here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the whole grocery list on here. And then I have it for future reference because basically we make the same menu every year for Christmas. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I got it, Colleen, my angel time. I love it. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Holly. Holly said, ooh, how do I join the Facebook group? I'm new to your YouTube channel. Well, Holly, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just go to Facebook and search for Layle by Mail, Layle by Mail. You will find a Facebook page and a Facebook group. All of this will be in the Facebook group. The Facebook group, the difference between a Facebook page and a Facebook group, Facebook page, only I can post. You can comment, but I'm the only one that can post. In a Facebook group, everyone can post and comment. So it's very, interactive, and people are sharing the things that they're working on or asking questions or different things like that. All right. So we are now, well, at least this one will be a one-page list, at least for now. All right. Let's get, thank you, Terry. Yeah, we're doing pretty well. 12:35. 12:35 is Mountain Time. I never talk Mountain Time. I always talk Pacific Time when we are together because Mountain Time is kind of one of those, Dina, I love it. Oh my, HE double hockey sticks. Now, Dina, I would swear with the best of them. I just try not to swear on camera, so I love it. She said, oh my, HE double hockey sticks. I love that sugar plum. Yeah, it's a good one. It is a good one. It's a fun one. So I'm going to do this 4 3/4 by 8. Need my other trimmer. That trimmer is a shorty. 4 3/4 by 8. Oh, guess what I got to see today? So Melissa owns Pretty Little Studio, and she is a small woman-owned business, just like me. There are lots of us out here. She sent me sneak peeks of her next collection that she is working on right now. Yes, Terry, I for sure will. I for sure want to do that. She sent me a sneak peek of her next collection. So I won't tell you what it is because it's not mine to tell. But I will tell you, it's pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty awesome. I don't even know when it comes out yet. She just shared. It's really fun. It is fun. Yeah, Pretty Little Studio. She's a sweetheart. And you know what? She is pretty much a one-woman show. I don't know how she does it. All right, this guy, I need to just make it a little bit more narrow. Just a little bit. And so you guys, not all of our lists have to be like super involved, right? Not everything is a masterpiece. Well, that's the truth. Whether it's involved or not everything is a masterpiece. But that first list that we did, I mean, that took quite a while, right? And I wanted to spend more time on that. This one went pretty quickly. This one will go pretty quickly as well. But I would really like to let me look and see if I'd really like to work a little bit of green in there. I'm a child of the 80s, right? I love the pink and green together. So let me see if, maybe, all right, let me look at a couple things here. Green, do I have green? I don't want to use that one. I'm just looking to see what green I have. This was back to evergreen season. I'm looking at all the B-sides. There's not really a green in there that I would like. And that's it's cute, like Christmas sweater, but doesn't really work. So let me look one more spot. I'm thinking maybe in Vicky's. Where would that be? Where would that be? In Vicky's. I know there's one in there. I know there is one. I know there's a green in Vicky's, but where would that be? And Wrapped in Ribbons. Where is Wrapped in Ribbons? Well, I don't know. So, I'm not sure where it is. I wonder, maybe can we work that in? That'll work. Yep, I'll just do that. It just happens to be sitting right there still. So we'll use that guy, which means I'm probably going to have to narrow down my little pink gingham again. Let's see. Some guesses there. Anti-Caffeine Crafts said, child of the 80s here as well. I just went through all of my old paper stuff from the 1980s in order to see if I could put it in a junk journal. Yes, right? That's sometimes what the best thing is about you working in either a junk journal or a traveler's notebook, right? Is that we have there's like some kind of permission that we don't need it, but it's some kind of permission that makes it easy to use some of our older product in a traveler's notebook or a junk journal that we don't feel like we have the permission to use it in another type of project. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? I don't know. I was an avid collector of fine scrapbooking supplies for years, and sometimes was hesitant to use it because I loved it so much. And then you know what happens when we do that, right? You get to the point where it's totally out of style, or it's totally out of your style, and you're like, well, shoot, I should have used that. Why didn't I ever use that? But there's something about, for me at least, working in a traveler's notebook or, you know, one of my junk journals or glue books that I don't feel the same way. Like, I feel like I can do whatever I want in it. I can use whatever I want in it. There we go. I wanted to get a little bit of that pink and green in there. Crafty Carly said, can't you use the original green plaid? So I could. I think the other issue with this for me is that this is going at an angle and this one is very linear. So kind of those lines were competing a little bit. That's what I didn't talk about before, but those lines were competing a little bit for me. But you totally could do that. Anti-Caffeine Crafts said, my scrapbook supplies are all new to me again now that I am looking at them in terms of a junk journal, right? Isn't that crazy? It's kind of like those bell bottoms that you've had in your closet forever. They're new again. They're new again. All right. There we go. Now, glimmers, right? These are my glimmers. So let's look and see things on my glimmer list. So I just feel like I want to use one of these pink Santas because they're so cute. These are the large pink Santas. Now it's good. Look at his bum. Oh, look at that. I like that. Now, really, this is, could I cut the crooked straight? Oh my gosh, I don't know. If I could maybe cut it, yeah, probably. And then have a Zen Girls, I'd have a piece that was like this big, right? So even though this really isn't a holiday themed list, it's holidays right now. So that is what I'm gonna do. This, I love that look because now it's almost like this little pocket that my list can slide in. So let's grab some more white cardstock and put our little list in there. I love that like little footer. It's just kind of this cute little footer. All right. All right. I know Pink Santa, he's cute, isn't he? All right, so let's just eyeball again where this is going to go. I need my big trimmer out again. Throwing things on the floor. All right. So glimmers. If you are thinking retroactively, which we kind of have to do, right? Because we can't be looking, well, we can be looking ahead, right? We can now be thinking about glimmers, and we can be thinking about how we want to watch for them and be intentional as we are looking for them or thinking for them. But is there something that happened? Now that you kind of, if you weren't aware of that term before, is there something that maybe happened this last week or today that you might be able to identify as a glimmer? And if so, what was it? What was it? I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know. I feel like we need a little bit more pink to hold all that together. So let's look and see what that pink is. If you missed what I said before, there is an article that I have linked to that I found yesterday when I was all of a sudden rabbit holing into the whole kind of idea of glimmers. That does an excellent job of explaining what they are, examples of them, why they are helpful, why they're beneficial, kind of that whole concept. So I found it super, super fascinating, super interesting. All right, Kitsch Flamingo. Now, you could have an entire traveler's notebook or an entire notebook or spiral notebook or composition notebook or notepad or something that you were just jotting glimmers down as they happen. You don't have to be, decorating and making lists and doing fun things like that. I think it's more just the whole concept of being aware of them, right? Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you, Duh. Amy just put a link to that article. Oh, oopsie. Amy just put a link to that article in the chat. And then I'll also put that in the Facebook group. But it's also on the blog post for today's listing session, which you will find linked in the description box of the video. Oh, Colleen said, one of my glimmers is seeing actors, actresses I have met turn up in a Hallmark movie. That is so fun. Zen Girls said, glimmer today, watching Lael list, even though I'm not doing it, I'm gift wrapping. Oh, that's a good one. I love that. I love that they're so different. Like the one that Colleen mentioned is so different from the one that that Zen Girls mentioned. Anti-Caffeine Craft said, getting a vintage style My Little Pony journal for $4. Another glimmer, right? This is the mini. Denise, this is the mini, okay? That size is the mini that's been around forever. This one is the tiny. This came out maybe about a year ago. So mini on the right, tiny on the left. And you might say, why would I want one size versus the other? Depends on obviously what you're doing with it. If you are just kind of inking edges like I do, the small one would work great. If you are maybe using it for stenciling, depending on the kind of stencil that you are using, a big one might be better or a small one might be better. I mean, obviously the small one can get you into smaller spaces. Hearing my nephew laugh last night over Skype, another glimmer, right? So here's the thing, they can be totally, they don't have to be big things. And I think that's the whole point. They're not big things. They're glimmers. It's not like a blinding flash of light, right? Which might be like winning the $1 billion lottery. That would be like a blinding flash of light. But a glimmer is just a small little, thing. Small little thing. And I think they're very personal, right? What may be a glimmer to me might not be a glimmer to you and vice versa. Valerie said, feeding squirrels in our yard. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're good. I got sidetracked in the chat. I thought that someone was asking a different question than they were. All right, so there's that little piece just to go right there. So cute. That works perfect. And you know what I love? I love it when we have pieces that work very well for the size of our traveler's notebook. So that's like it was designed to go there. I mean, I know it's not, but Heather said my Christmas cactus bloomed. That's my glimmer. So now all of a sudden, and when I started talking about them, you might have been like, glimmer, like what the heck is she talking about? I don't need glimmers. And then you hear people talking about some of these things and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, yes. Amy said, seeing untouched fresh snow on the ground, right? Some parts of the country you're seeing that. Some parts of the country you are seeing no snow on the ground. And that could be a glimmer for you, right? It could be a glimmer. Could totally be a glimmer for you. All right, so here we go. I need to stamp my title. I'll put this away later. That'll take a minute. I need to stamp my title. So I am going to use, let's see. I was going to use, we use this guy? Yeah, I'm going to use Poe Alpha. Poe Alpha. Poe is the name of one of our cats in the past. Well, it was always his name. He's just in the past. He is no longer. See, Terry, and this goes both ways, right? Terry said, no snow is making me very grumpy. But you know what? I agree with you because it's weird right now that we don't have snow. But I will tell you, as soon as there's a lot of snow, it will be making me grumpy that there's too much snow, right? That's kind of how it goes. It's kind of how it goes. All right, so glimmers. That's too big. I mean, I could use it, right? I could use that little guy. Somebody before said, I got your little stubbies. And now I know what that meant. I mean, I knew then too. These little guys are smaller stamping blocks, right? So they're kind of like our stylus, but they are smaller, a little bit easier to handle for such a small one. If that was a square, that'd be way too hard to work with because it'd be a little tiny square. So those little cylinders work really well. Those will work great for my letters. As I mentioned before, when I am using multiple stamps, I like to stamp them individually as opposed to all together. So there's nothing wrong with taking your stamping block, a larger one, and spelling out your word all on one block and doing a one stamp. I like to control how close my stamps are together. I like them to be super close together. So I stamp them separately. Just a thing that I do. All right, so, GL, oh yeah, they'll fit. I just had to make sure that they would fit on here. So if we go, let's see, I'm making a pencil line, okay? I'm making a pencil line because that's how I can make sure that my letters are even. They're straight. All right, so let's take our little G. These are all going to be lowercase as I stamp them. So I would imagine, I think, just based on my experience as I started thinking about glimmers and looking for glimmers, I think maybe at the start, when you kind of haven't trained your mind to look for them and be aware of them, it may take a little bit, you might have to search a little bit more. You might be like, oh, glimmer, okay, glimmer. What would be a glimmer? What did I see as a glimmer today? But I think over time, the more that you start to look for them, the more you're aware of them, the more they start to pop up. Nancy said, my poinsettia from last year is getting red leaves. It turned completely green over the year. That's fun, right? That it re-sprouted for you. So thank you, Terry. I'm gonna finish this list and then I will show. I will for sure show. Even though we'll go over. I mean, it was just in my mind. It wasn't a hard stop. It was in my mind. I have a lot of things I got to get done in order to get ready to launch that tomorrow. But we'll finish this one and then I'll show it. Lael, have we done a list of fave YouTubers who'd be number one? Oh, thanks, Karen. And guess what? We don't even need to do the list because I'd just be the only one. Okay, totally kidding. You guys know that. You know that's me to laugh like that. That is very sweet of you. Thank you. I don't think we've done one. We've done favorite authors. We've done favorite books. We've done podcasts. But that would be a fun one to do. That'd be a really fun one to do. And what I like when we do ones like that is sometimes how because you guys everybody's sharing, right? I'm sharing mine. And then in the chat, you guys are popping up with yours. Oh, that was weird. In the chat, you guys are piping in, not popping up. You're piping in with yours. I hope I haven't. Oopsie. I hope I have not started too far to the right. Oh boy, it could be an issue. Okay, so guess what? This one is going to be called Glimmer. It's going to be called Glimmer because I did not plan that well. I didn't plan that well, but that's okay because Glimmer works too. I'll just do a little explanation as to what they are right below it because they're like Glimmer. What the heck is a glimmer? Glimmers. Just don't worry. The stamp set will have, well, it does say glimmers in one word. Glimmer. Glimmer. All right. Glimmer. And then I'll say glimmers are, yeah, that would be the thing that, you know what, life is too short to start over. Life is too short to start that list over. But there's a trick to fix it. Well, just to make it not so noticeable is what I mean by that. Okay, glimmer. Glimmer. One of the ways that we're going to fix it is we're going to find a cute little sticker that can just go right there, right next to it, to help fill in that space a little bit. So, little star. I kind of like this little guy. Let's see what this little guy looks like. These are from Eggnog stickers. What if, well, let's just look and see what we think. This little fairy is kind of cute. Let's see what that little fairy would look like there. Oh, look at, it looks like it's designed to go there. It kind of fits. It's like fits right there in the G. So that works. Glimmer. All right. So now we'll just say glimmers. Glimmers are, let's see. Glimmers are happy, joyous, everyday moments. That appear. I had to have a word that fit. So there we go. That's like the little postscript. Glimmer. Glimmers. That's my little postscript. P.S. P.S. All right. So now I need a little, well, we'll just do a little short little line here. Not short. It's going to be long. A long little line that will separate that from my little glimmers here. All right, so glimmers that I experienced this week. Now, I thought for my bullets, I might be able to use, well, I was thinking I might use those, but I'm not going to use those because I need little guys. Those are stickers. I need little guys, and then I'd be bringing in more, I'd have to be bringing in more colors that I don't necessarily have here. So we're going to go to a bullet stamp. Remember when I said I use bullet stamps on pretty much every list? Yes. Yes, now it will look like you are writing the definition of glimmer and below is your list of glimmers. Yeah, see, guess what? We can always make it work. It'll always work out. We'll just make it work out. And if not, you know what? It's a list. It is a little 5 by 8 1/4 list that you just turn the page and move on, right? If it didn't quite turn out how you wanted, then you turn the page and move on and you had fun. You had fun and you were being creative, and that's what this is all about. All right, I need a little heart. I think we should pull just a heart, just a little plain old heart, or maybe it should be a star. Maybe a star is more like a glimmer, right? Let's look at this little guy because it's kind of has a little shadow. This star is a little shadow, and so maybe with a little shadow, it would look like it was kind of glimmering. Go for a short walk before you start your other work today. You know what? I should totally do that. I will totally do that. That is a great idea, Zen girls. Will you remind me of your name? I remember you won a prize last week, and I know I sent you an email this morning. And you had your name, and now I totally don't remember what it is, Zen girls. Okay, let's look. Oh, yeah. Okay, see how it kind of has a little shadow to it? Then it's kind of glimmering, but I feel like it shouldn't be, it should not be above it? Do I want it to be to the side of it? You know, obviously all I have to do is rotate it, but I need to have it the way on the stamp, on the block. Let's look. Oh yes, I think I like it this way better. So it is down to the left as opposed to directly above it. And all I did to do that was just rotate it, right? Same thing. Do that outside. Do that outside too. Oh yes, no, I will do it outside. For sure I will do it outside. Yeah. Yeah. I will for sure do it outside. Let me look. Did that? No, I turned that. Did I turn that? Oh well, it's just gonna kind of be at an angle. Okay, this was, okay, yesterday. My husband, Nick, is pretty awesome. And he knows, believe me, he knows that his wife has been under a little bit of stress for the last week. And so all day yesterday, because as of yesterday, he's off until the end of the year, so he was home all day. He would periodically come into my craft room as I'm working away, and he'd say, stand up. And I'd be like, stand up what? And he'd go, stand up. And he'd be like, hug break. And he would make me, I shouldn't say make me, he would remind me to stand up, and he would give me a big hug. So all day yesterday, I had hug breaks. Surprise hug breaks from Nick throughout the day. And you know what? Here's the thing. I mean, when he did that the first time, I'm like, wait a minute, what? Hug, what? And then when he did the second time, I'm like, oh. And then when he kept doing it, you know, like every hour, I'm like, okay, you know what? And I was very much in tune with that because of this whole glimmer thing. So for me, it just helps me to, as I'm thinking about glimmers and being in tune with them, to really like appreciate those kind of things, right? Because, you know, otherwise I'd be like, oh, that's nice. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I lucked out. I lucked out in the husband department. He's a way better person than I am. Let me tell you, he is a way better person than I am. Oh my gosh. Okay. I just got to tell you guys a story really quickly as we talk about this. This is total squirrel moment. Okay. Total squirrel moment. We went to a family Christmas party last weekend. And if you follow my December daily entries, I did an entry for that day. We were encouraged to thrift a gift, which meant you'd go to a thrift store and you'd find a gift and then, you know, build on it if you wanted or whatever. So we're at that family party, and the last person to draw was, like, let's see, somebody stole Nick's gift, because you could do like a secret, like a white elephant where you could, you know, take someone's gift. So someone stole Nick's gift. And there was one young man, a family friend who maybe early 20s, way earlier in the night, he had the gift that he drew was a bottle of Martinelli's cider. And, you know, he's a young kid, and so he's probably like, oh, great. And so someone stole Nick's gift, and so Nick had to steal someone's gift, and he stole that young man's bottle of cider. And Nick's like, I want that Martinelli's. And so then it gave this cute, you know, young man an opportunity to pick another gift, which I tell you what, that we got in the car. I'm like, Nick, that is, you are such a giving, caring man. And that is like, that just not broke my heart, but broke my heart in a really good way, that he just was, you know, anyhow. But so yes, he's a pretty awesome guy, Nick is. All right. We went to a, celebration of life on, Thursday night for, a friend of Nick's that he'd had. Nick was very close to him, when he was younger, when Nick was younger and when this guy was younger. But he had recently passed away from cancer. And he's Nick's age, and it was very, you know, all those things are always just so difficult. I mean, it was a beautiful, lovely celebration, but super emotional. And, but we had met up with a friend for dinner before the three of us went to that celebration of life. And, that friend said to me, "Oh my goodness, I love your skirt." And he was a guy. Okay. And so it was just very, that was just a very nice little glimmer in otherwise still a beautiful evening, but a really heavy evening. So a compliment on the skirt I was wearing. All right, you should make sure you are nice to him so you can check that off Nick's list for you. I know the be nice to Nick. That was so funny. I am a nice person, I promise you. That's just Nick's sense of humor. Be nice to Nick. Oh golly. Okay. Fresh. Pomegranate. Palm. Oh, P-M-E-G-R. I need help. Pomegranate. This is where I don't know where to go from here. So someone, if you know, or please Google spell check for me. Pomegranate. I don't remember the last part. Is it A-T-E? Pomegranate. Fresh pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate. Thank you. Pomegranate. That's how I had it written down. But then it just didn't seem right. Thank you. Fresh granite seeds that Mom brought that I ate with a spoon. Okay, so if you like pomegranates, there's basically two ways you can get them. You can buy the pomegranate and you have to de-seed it, whatever. Or you can buy them in a little plastic cup and they're all there. So my mom had extra and she brought them over and I poured them into like a little, into a little bowl or whatever. And I ate them with a spoon. And I love pomegranate seeds. But if someone's already done all the work for you, there's something like very decadent about eating pomegranate seeds with a spoon. I put it, yes, so that was fun. That was a glimmer. I'm like, oh, I love it. Pomegranate seeds with a spoon. I have way more. So guess what? You guys, I have way more glimmers that are going to fit on my list. So this is what's going to happen. This is going to end up becoming a 2-page list. So we will do the 1 page today and I'll finish it before we're together again. A great waiter, a great young waiter. So the night that I mentioned when we went to dinner before the celebration of life, Valerie, you'll know this. This is at Porcupine. This man, young man, so good, so attentive. It was like, oh my goodness. Enough that when we left, the manager was sitting there and I said, he is amazing. I want you to know what a great guy he is. He is amazing. And then yesterday, Nick said, oh, I got to tell you. So because Nick had gone to the restroom and then, I didn't see Nick do this. But he said, so when we were leaving, I stopped the manager and told the manager, I'm like, oh my gosh, we both did that, right? So maybe his glimmer for the day was that not one, but 2 customers told his manager how great he was, but he was awesome. So that was just it's like, oh my gosh, he was so good. And I guess if you experience bad ones, it makes the glimmer even better. So as I was trying to embrace the Christmas spirit or feel the Christmas spirit a little bit more, yesterday I burned a Christmas candle all day long. And that just made me happy, right? That just made me so happy to have that Christmas candle burning all day long. Generally what I do, I get a really yummy Christmas candle. It's always pine. I'm always like, oh, I should save it. I should wait and burn it. And then Christmas is over and then I put it away. And then the next year I'm like, oh, I should save it. And then I don't enjoy it. So all day yesterday it was burning, that was just a nice, fun glimmer. All right. So here's the deal. I need a second page, which means I'm not going to do the second page today. I will do the second page on my own. We'll take a look at it next Saturday, but I will tell you what other glimmers were on my list if you're interested. Reggie sleeping through the night 3 nights in a row. Reggie is the cat. Reggie sleeps with us. If he doesn't sleep with us, he tries to open the door with his paws. He stands on his feet, first does this at the door, and then he stands on his hind legs, and he tries to open the door with his paws. So, sleeps with us. He likes, long story, he likes to wake me up in the middle of the night. So, 3 nights in a row this week. That was a nice glimmer. My friend Amy, if she is here, Amy on my list is, Amy paid me a very nice compliment, and the words superhero were in that compliment. So that was very much a glimmer on my list. The last glimmer, someone very close to our family has cancer, and he's been going through very, very, very difficult treatment and is in so much pain, and it's so hard to see that. And another person close in our family, and not my story to tell, I don't want to name names, but another person in our family sent a photo yesterday of this person that's going through the cancer treatment, standing outside of the cancer treatment center yesterday, and there's a big rainbow over the building. And that was like that glimmer. So it wasn't even my rainbow. It was someone else's rainbow. But seeing that for someone that is going through so much difficult pain right now, that was a really special, kind of a different way of a glimmer. So those are some examples of glimmers, friends. And I am very excited to, I haven't even told my friend Sherry yet where this is all headed after she shared that term glimmer with me last week. So I'm very excited to take that whole concept, glimmers, and I will continue to work on that into really all throughout 2025, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's nice to be focusing on things like this when all of the other things are happening in your life or your world or family or friends or whatever it is. So, all right, let me put this in here, and then we're going to take a totally different direction. We're going to do a little sneak peek, friends. This is a big one. This is probably too, I don't know, emotions have been running very high for me this week. There's cancer going on in our family, and then there's the celebration of life that we went to, and then there's just holidays in general, and then launching a brand new program that is scary. It's a bit scary to put this out there. So that's what we're gonna just really quickly. If you want to hang out, you will find out all about this tomorrow. So it'll be on social media. It's going out. It'll be a long post on the blog, really digging in and explaining. And there'll be an email going out about it as well. But it is this new program called Season Pass. This program has been in the works for a while. I don't know, you guys, it's a thing. Let me hang on. I have one. Here it is. Okay, hang on. Let me just grab these and put these in there. I need to make sure this is complete. All right. So this program is called Season Pass. It is replacing a program, but it's totally different, and it totally much broader. How do I say this? This applies to a much broader audience besides people that do traveler's notebooks. What's the pack where you got the Santa with? That is the it is the Santa large Santas, pink Santa die cuts, Okay, so I have been crafting for a long time. I've been a scrapbooker for 27 years. We've been listing for 5 years. I've been using traveler's notebooks for 8 years. I've been doing mini books, all different kinds of things. For the last 7 years, I've had a program called the Bi-Monthly Traveler's Notebook Kit. And basically, it was a kit that had some 12 by 12 paper in it and usually stickers. And we would use that product to decorate our traveler's notebook for the month. All right, so an example of that would have been this guy. This is the one that we did in December. So we would cover our traveler's notebook inserts and we would decorate the pockets. So that was for 2 months. So the last one was the holiday one, and it was for November and December, the months of November and December. I've been doing that for 7 years. That was getting very stale to me, and I think it was probably getting stale to a lot of people. So Amy and I earlier this year, just started talking about, just kind of brainstorming about what would be next. And Season Pass is what is next. So Season Pass is a quarterly program, okay? Leah, the initials of your friend, Leah, thank you. The initials are GM. G as in girl, M as in Mary. Thank you so much, Leah. That is so sweet of you. That's so very kind of you. Okay, so this is a quarterly program. The first quarter launches tomorrow. And so that is Season Pass Winter Spring. And so basically what it is, it's a kit. It is a kit with all exclusive, you won't see the product anywhere else because it's mine, product that is designed basically for winter and spring. So there is a component that's winter, there is a component that's love, and there's a component that is spring. So that is the winter spring. It is all packaged together in one of my 13 by 13 craft storage pouches. It has a lot of things in it. It has its own little cover sheet. So it is a combination of paper, of die cuts, of word strip stickers, stamp. If you want traveler's notebook inserts, but I've thought about this a lot the last couple of days, and Amy doesn't even know this. There will be an option to get it without the traveler's notebook inserts or with. But the whole idea is to give you a small amount of product, not a whole collection. Because I don't know about you guys, I don't have, it could be the money, it could be the space, it could be the time to be buying full collections, a full winter collection, a full Valentine's collection, a full spring collection, and then actually use it and do something with it. That's not to say that you can't. And of course, I'll be using other things. But this whole idea behind Season Pass is to give you a small amount of things so that you could document a little bit of winter, a little bit of February love, and a little bit of spring. So, one thing, and because I'm like you guys, right? I'm a crafter. I'm a scrapbooker. I'm a crafter. I'm a lister, whatever it is. And I like everything to be put to good use. So that is the cover sheet. Well, the cover sheet, the back of it, that's a pattern that you can use. So purposefully designed, and that is that white grid that I use all the time. So right there on the back side, you can use that for whatever you want. All right, so let's talk about the first part of it, papers. So I will still be using, let's talk about how I'm going to use this. I will still be using this for the monthly traveler's notebooks. So we will still have a class every month where we'll be using some of the product in the kit to set up our traveler's notebook for the month. I will be using some of it during our lists on Saturdays because one of the big requests I've gotten for years as we've been doing our listing is, can't we have like a kit or something that you put together so that we have something when you start working on a list that we have what you have so we can do the same thing? So that's also part of it as well. So some 12 by 12 papers. So guess what? If you're a 12 by 12 scrapbooker, everything in here works for you because we're starting with 12 by 12 papers. We've always used 12 by 12 papers in designing our traveler's notebooks every month, decorating. We trim them down, but now we've got the 12 by 12 papers. So the 12 by 12 papers can work for really any type of crafting, right? So you're going to see 2 double-sided 12 by 12 papers for each month in the Season Pass. So for January, you have that super cute little kind of winter scene, more of a neutral on the back side for the B side. This is the second 12 by 12, fun little snowflakes. Super neutral, basic trees on the, I guess that's the front, that's the back. So everything's designed to coordinate together within the month for the season or the season for the season. So the winters, 2 double-sided 12 by 12s. And then as part of that, you have an 8.5 by 11. 8.5 by 11 has 1 pattern, has 2 pattern, has 3 patterns. Because guess what? When we're working in a traveler's notebook, what do we usually do? We take a 6 by 8 and we trim it down to that size so we can make a list on it. So if you are working in a traveler's notebook, that's perfect, right? If you're not working in a traveler's notebook, you still need your smaller pieces, right? You're not just working with all 12 by 12 paper, you still need your smaller pieces. So that is 2 different patterns on the 8.5 by 11, and then the full size, well, the full print on the back for 8.5 by 11. And then we also have a 6 by 8. So there is a 6 by 8 for each month in the quarterly seasons pack. So the front side of the 6 by 8 is going to have your little 3 by 4 cards, because that's what we use a lot when we're decorating our pockets, right? The back side, another solid pattern. So really, that is a snippet of product, just paper to start with, that you can use really in any of your paper crafting. Like I said, I'll continue to use this for my monthly traveler's notebook setup, and I'll also be using this on our Saturday lists, all right? And I will tell you, I need to get back with the printer and ask them what weight this paper is, because this is a thicker weight than your traditional scrapbook paper. So good, nice quality. Very excited about that. Denise said no more wasted 6 by 8 pads, right? So very fun there. So that is, I'll show you the paper. That is the paper for January or for winter. Then we get into February. How fun is that? Now, one of the things that's always been really hard for me for February, and I'm talking about when I decorate my traveler's notebook, is that everything is super themey love style. And that's not always what I want to document. And not everybody is in a themey love stage of life, right? So this is just, it's themey in that there's some hearts and it's red, but there's other fun colors working in there. Cute little owl, right? So that's A side, super neutral, B side with the hearts. There's your coordinating. Look at your coordinating little tinies go together, but can be used separately as well. Cute little flowers. So that is the February 12 by 12 paper. Here is the February 8.5 by 11. You know I like a good chunky stripe, so you'll see lots of good chunky stripes. Cute little smaller little bees. And then on the back side, super neutral plaid, right? So everything's designed to go together. And then you have your cute little 6 by 8 piece with the 3 by 4 cards, or just the pattern on the back. Okay. So Julie said, will you be able to buy several season passes together or for the full year and pay for shipping all at once? Julie, there will be an option. There will be no, I don't want to call it like a subscription option, because the subscription, for me, I don't want to be tied into some kind of subscription, but it would be where you could buy, you'd prepay in advance, but you could buy, I would say probably 2 or 4. And I've got to kind of figure out the details behind that. But the thing about shipping at once doesn't really work, because these will come out quarterly. So this one will launch tomorrow. The one for April, May, June will launch in March. So the shipping, you'll still pay shipping each time. But the big change in this from the bi-monthly Traveler's Notebook Project Kit is that was bi-monthly. So you were paying shipping every other month. And this is now quarterly, so you're basically paying 4 times a year. There'll be a huge Q&A on the blog where I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, because I know there will be tons of questions about it. All right, then we jump into March or spring, okay? Look at that. Is that not the cutest thing ever? And here's the thing with you guys. If you are like, well, I'm not a 12 by 12 scrapbooker and I wouldn't really use that paper. Well, those icons are so cute. You could get out your little fussy cutting scissors and make yourself a whole crap ton of little die cuts, right? But that, super cute. Backside, great green plaid. So you'll notice the B-sides are super, super, super neutral, right? Because that's what we need. When we're crafting, we need like a hero pattern, but then we need something really basic to go with it. This is the next guy that's part of that. Fun, cute little birdhouses and bees and little mushrooms and birds. And then on the back side, classic, right? A nice little polka dot. That teal is really pretty. So those are the 2 12 by 12s for March. And then our 8.5 by 11. nice stripe, and then a cute, just small little random polka dot. And then on the back side, some more cute little birds and ladybugs. And then the 3x4 cards. Look at how cute. Guess who that is? That's me. That's me. With really skinny legs and a really big head. But anyhow, just really fun 3x4 cards that you could, any of this you could use now. Your traveler's notebook, a mini book, scrapbook pages, cards. This one I went a little bit rogue on. I did 2 patterns on the back side. So those are the papers. So that's kind of the start. That's the base of the kit. You have 12 papers, 6 12x12s, 3 8.5x11s, and 3 6x8s. But then we need fun things to go with those. So there is a pack of 64 die cuts that go with these. 64 die cuts. I just saw a question, so I'm going to answer that question in one sec. Are there any samples done up yet? There will be tomorrow, Denise. There will be tomorrow. The samples that you'll see tomorrow are the samples you'll be used to seeing, Denise, will be the 3, the January, February, March setups for the Traveler's Notebook. Those are the samples that you will see tomorrow. But then you will continue to see samples throughout the season, throughout the months, right, of lists that I do, how other people use them, how some people on the design team uses them. Not everyone on the design team will use them. I gave people the option if they wanted to work with it or not. So look at all these die cuts though. There's labels. Look at, I mean, seriously, so cute. So you have die cuts for each of the months or each of the seasons. So this is how now you're really starting to pull things together as you're doing your lists or as you're doing your scrapbook pages or as you're doing really whatever you're using them for. But you will see all of these. You'll see an image with all of these tomorrow when the product launches. But look how cute. I mean, just so many fun things. So it really, a lot of this was very much inspired by the way that I craft, but also very much inspired by being in the industry for many, many, many years, and seeing how people use things and seeing how I use things, but also seeing maybe there being, it feels like sometimes an abundance of product that we have. And so rather than trying to go really wide or deep in any particular month or season, I went narrow, but in multiples, right? So you have the die cuts. Then you have a 4x6 stamp set. So super fun stamps that will work not only for these seasons, these months, but for lots of things, right? So things building, happy in heart and happy in winter and happy in spring, happy love, but happy can be used by itself. Those other things can be used by itself. Hearts, some little small accent stamps, little label with your months that go inside. So focusing on things, especially when it comes to reusable product like your stamps that you can use throughout the year. They're not just, you know, the same little girl and the same tree that you're kind of pigeonholed into. And then a sheet of 5x7 word strip stickers. So the 5x7 word strip stickers, 81 stickers, all for winter, love, and then spring, and then some generics mixed in with spring. You guys know how much I love my word strip stickers. I will tell you something really cool. Do you know who I worked with? You know who did these for me? Melissa at Pretty Little Studio. Isn't that cool? So she's been amazing to work with, and I approached her and said, hey, I need someone to do stickers for me. You know, could we do that? And she's like, absolutely. So that was kind of a neat thing. All right. Last couple things that are part of that. Like I said, if you want to have Traveler's Notebook inserts included with that, that is an option. Otherwise, you don't have to have the Traveler's Notebooks because I know not everybody uses those. And then this is the one thing in the project that is not exclusive for now. There are 3 rolls of coordinating washi. So those coordinate with the 3 months or the 3 different seasons. These are simple stories. We just didn't have enough time to do washi. So we'll see how this progresses, the washi, whether I do my own. I have done my own washi before, so we'll see how that progresses in the other season pass kits through the year. So season pass, there are 4. Winter Spring launches tomorrow, the 22nd of December. April, May, June, or no, sorry, Spring Summer will launch in March for April, May, June. And then Summer Fall, sorry, I just flipped you. Summer Fall will launch in June for July, August, September. And then, you know what I'm saying. I don't need to keep doing the math because my brain is not working. Anyhow, launch 4 times a year. Here's the other thing. It will not always be that same artwork. That the style will totally change. Will totally change. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I love this cute little stuff, you'll love it. You may see it appear in another season. You may not. But the plan for now is to totally change that up, to kind of pick up a bunch of different styles, because I have a bunch of different styles. So I like to switch things up. And I think you guys probably do too. None of this is my artwork. Well, like, you know, these are all my words, and but all of the paper and icons, that is artwork that I found and purchased. So I wish I could say I was a talented designer and that I could draw all those things. Not me. So that's it. That's the Seasons Pass program. You're probably wondering what it's going to cost. It is $49.99. So it is worth, the retail value on that product is higher than $49.99. Amy and I went back and forth as we were kind of pricing things out. And we both I really felt it was very important that we hit a price point that, was a good one, that you could be like, okay, yeah, I can totally do that. That's 3 months worth of product. And then I'm only paying shipping once. So that is the plan. And if all goes according to plan, if the UPS guy was just dropping off what I think the UPS guy was dropping off, which is the die cuts, then should start shipping on Monday. Monday is the 23rd. Last thing I'll say, I know some people are, not you guys, maybe you guys, I know some other people are like, woman, you are crazy. Why in the world would you launch this at this time of year when there's so much noise happening and so much going on with the holidays? Because it is also part of, it's taking the place of that bi-monthly Traveler's Notebook Kit. I got to schedule class, right? And it's probably going to happen maybe like the 1st or 2nd of January. Not the 1st, probably going to happen the 2nd of January, because we need to get them shipped and for people to get their stuff. But we need to launch it now so that you can get your Traveler's Notebook set up if you are using it for that. So that is the plan. Okay, so I'm going to have to go, Sarah, 49 each quarter. Yeah. So it is that season pass I just showed you is, $49. So just for the winter spring season, that is what that is. And like I said, you will see that, you'll see it on the website tomorrow. You'll see it, on the blog. It'll be on social media, and an email will also go out about it. So stay tuned for that. But it'll be available for order tomorrow with a couple samples that I still have to do. All right, friends. So I am going to, do we need to buy tomorrow? Zen Girls. So I think what you're asking is, like, do you have to buy it tomorrow or can you wait? I have no clue. I wish I had a crystal ball. I have no idea. This is the first time, right? This is the first time we've done this. So I really have no clue what to expect. I hope that we're not all sitting here next year and I go, oh, so that was an interesting program. It was a good experiment. We won't be doing that again. I mean, I don't think that will happen. I really don't. I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't know. So I will tell you, if everything goes very quickly, I will reorder. But a reorder time is probably about a month. I will just say that. I can't make any guarantees, and I would love for nothing more than for it to be sold out tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. I'm sorry I can't give you an easier answer than that because I know it's a hard time. Yes, but you can buy tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. No, you do not need to be at your computers at 12:01 a.m. because it will not be ready by 12:01 a.m. It'll be, let's say this. Let's say tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's when it's going to be, okay? Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. just because I just still have a lot to do. All of the marketing's done. All the marketing images are done. We just wrapped that up late last night. It's really the samples that I need to get done, and I need to photograph them, and then I need to do that whole full-blown Q&A, the frequently asked questions document. So it is Sunday, the 22nd at 3 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Okay, friends. Thank you for letting me share. It feels a little bit better to kind of get that out there. It's very I don't know, it's scary. It's very scary, right? It is very scary. And I think Amy may have answered this. Everything in that made in the US except for the pouches, right? The pouches aren't made in the US, and the traveler's notebook inserts. But you guys, the paper manufactured in the US, stickers manufactured in the US, die cuts manufactured in the US, and stamps manufactured in the US. So which is pretty special. It's very important to me that I can do that when I can. We can't do that for everything, but yeah. So very exciting, very exciting. And Amy said, and this is why Lael doesn't sleep. Yeah, and this is why I bounce all around like a pinball machine, because I was working on this yesterday, and then I'm like, oh, glimmers. Oh wait, we should have a glimmer stamp set. And then all of this goes to the side, and then I'm off working on a glimmer stamp set. So it's all good. It's all good. Yes. So very excited, you guys. Thank you. You know that none of this, well, clearly none of this would have happened without you guys. And none of this would have happened without that very first Saturday that we did at the beginning of the pandemic, which some of you will find this hard to believe. This March 21st is 5 years. 5 years from that very first session on YouTube at the very beginning of the pandemic, which blows my mind, So thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here and hanging out and making things like this possible. Because if you would have told me 5 years ago or 10 years ago or even 3 years ago that I would be standing here showing you all this now, I would have been like, get out of here. Get out of here. What are you saying? So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. So thank you. All right, guys. All right. So here's the deal. We won't see each other again before Christmas, unless tomorrow, you know what? I'm probably going to need to do one of these tomorrow. I really probably need to do a live to show people. So that's probably going to happen. I'll do the live tomorrow. I'll do a live tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific time, right? So if you want to come back and watch it again, you can, or just want to pop on and say, hey, this is great, and thumbs up, and then leave. That's good too. But if I do not see you outside of tomorrow, if you bop in, have a wonderful holiday, please. Remember the glimmers, okay? I think, they say sometimes certain things in life happen for a reason. That glimmer thing coming up with my friend Sherry last week, I think that is the timing of her bringing that up just could not be better. It is, like I said, we talked about earlier, the holidays can be really hard. Even if everything is great in your life, the holidays can still be hard. So just look for those glimmers, okay? Just do yourself a favor, look for the glimmer. Just something ordinary. Somebody smiled at you. When you turned on the Hallmark channel, your very favorite of all time, a Hallmark Christmas movie was on. There was a second cup of coffee to be had in your house, whatever it is. Look for and recognize those glimmers, because I think for me, and I think for a lot of us, that will help get us through the next week or so that will tend to maybe be a little bit hectic. Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever other holiday thing that you observe this time of year. I just wish you all the best, and I hope you have a wonderful next week. I will see you again, if not tomorrow, for a little live reveal. I will see you hopefully on the 28th. So we're listing again on December 28th. I will also tell you I did the full schedule for our listing through March. It was on the email that went out over the last couple of days. I need to pop it in the Facebook group and Facebook page and a blog post so that you can kind of, if you are one that likes to add that to your calendar, then you can do that. All right, friends. Take care. Please take care of yourself, and I hope to see you in the next couple days or week. Okay, thanks for joining me today, and thanks for playing. Bye bye.